being broadcast live, as you can see that right now. So you should see on your screens that we're broadcasting this live, and hopefully you're all okay with that, because that's what's happening. And when you're in control of the mic and on your own side, you'll be able to do that yourself. But being that I'm controlling it, I just want to let you know that we are broadcasting live here on YouTube. So you can certainly tell the folks that are supportive of your company, the investors as well. I'll be doing that throughout the day, because investors will be in and out of the rooms throughout the day today. But first things first, as I mentioned, just some housekeeping things. This is not a place for political agendas or things like that. Everyone's got their perspective, and you know what? That's why one of the reasons why I love this great country, because we have the ability to have our own opinions. Try having your own opinion in a place like Iraq, and see how well that goes over, right? So we're super blessed to be in this incredible country, and we'll go back to before we kick off things with a prayer and a pledge. I love to do that because of the freedoms that we have in this country, and I do want to acknowledge first and foremost, Dan, if we can we just show the Brady Bunch boxes for a second, and just and instead of just my face, because if there's anyone here that has served our great country, especially on Memorial Day weekend, I love to acknowledge it anytime. But if you've served in any capacity as a public servant in either the fire, police, EMS, any of our armed forces, would you let us know either in the chat box or raise your hand in the options that you have there, just letting everybody know that you've been blessed to be able to serve this amazing country. I'm a patriot. I love the amazing country that we live in. I don't agree with everything, just like I don't agree with everything with my wife, and I love her to death. So I can't believe what I've been seeing over the last few years with splintering differences, and how people will acquiesce to certain cultures and social dynamics to just simply defame our country. And I would never do that. I'm thankful for every president that serves, even though I don't agree with every president that has served. That's not my position. I pray for everybody. I love this country. It's an honor to serve, and those are people that serve in office. So I'm thankful for that. I just want to make those comments. And I also wanted to just, quickly address the tragic events that we saw unfold here just a short while ago in Texas. I believe it happened on Tuesday. And, my heart goes out to all of those families. And if anyone's connected with that, how terribly sorry, and just the empathy and sympathy that my household has had, because as you guys know, many of you that know my family, I've got 4 kids and 2 littles at 10 and 7 years old, and the older ones are 17 and 15. But when I think of my 10-year-old and 7-year-old, and what that must be like for families having to endure what just happened, it's just so incredibly heartbreaking. And I just wanted to take a moment to remember those folks, and just a moment of silence here, because my heart is broken for those people, just seeing what has unfolded. In fact, I just heard today that a gentleman passed away from a massive heart attack. His wife was one of the teachers, and people are just simply saying he died of a broken heart. And I can say that I can totally understand something like that happening, and just being so heartbroken that it takes your own life. So let's just honor those folks and the people that are enduring this, and just take a moment of silence. Okay, well, thank you for that. It makes you, really think about how blessed we all are. You never know the day or the hour when it's your time. So live life to the fullest. I encourage you to love people more than anything else. Show empathy to people. You just never know when you can lift somebody's day. And unfortunately, these crazy, tragic events. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Otherwise, I get too emotional here. We're just thinking about my own kids. But thank you so much for those of you that have served, and we're acknowledging the fact that you have been able to serve this great country. Just a little bit about Memorial Day for our household. It's a special time. We have lots of family members that have served, and we have lots of folks that have been able to go on to the front lines as well. And we've got people that in our family that have been able to serve in that capacity and have even passed on, not during that time, but just we honor them today. My father-in-law was in the Air Force. My sister-in-law was in the Air Force. My nephew in the Navy, and uncles and aunts, and I mean, on and on and on. We're a military supportive family. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that has served in some capacity for this great nation that we're in. I love that. And Dan, if you wouldn't mind terribly having ready the flag so we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'll get things going here after we do our prayer and a pledge. And Tom Allen, you're going to be up first, and excited to interview you and hear your thoughts, and you run through some things. But Dan, could you please share the American flag on your screen? All right. Okay, so here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to give a round of applause to our great country and the people that support it. Thank you so much for the free enterprise system that have been protected over the years. Appreciate all that. All right, Dan, you can take that down. And I just want to honor God as well. You don't have to have the same faith as I do. That's okay. But I will tell you that when you look at the history of this great country and the people, the men and women that have fought for this country, it was for faith, it was for country, it was for values, it was for free enterprise, it was for a myriad of different things. And one of those things is called freedom. And when you look at the word freedom, there's two words in there. It's dominion of the free, and dominus comes from the word power, like dynamite, right? So the free power that we have to exist in this country, it's remarkable. We're unlike any other country on the planet to have the freedoms that we do. It's absolutely amazing. And I have the freedom to actually pray and give thanks in my faith, to say thank you, God, for allowing that. So if you guys would just honor that, and let's just agree in prayer. So Heavenly Father, I give you thanks for this wonderful day. I give you thanks for the opportunity to serve these amazing men and women, to broadcast live their skill sets, their talents, their amazing companies that they're building for a better country, a better world. And Lord, thank you for all the people that have gone on before us to preserve free enterprise. We wouldn't be able to have this opportunity to do that if it wasn't for the men and women, the brave men and women that are on the front lines protecting those freedoms on a daily basis. And I'm so thankful. Father, I ask that you touch the hearts, send your spirit of comfort as your word declares and promises, that you would help these people that are enduring such a painful time in their households, Lord God, and their families. Father, I ask that you just in some way show your love, your compassion, your comfort to each one of these households, Lord God. I'm so grief-stricken and broken for those households. I can't even imagine what they're enduring. And Lord, we can't make heads or tails or sense of anything. You know all things. And we're grateful for this day. I'm grateful for these people. I'm grateful to broadcast this and showcase this amazing group of talented men and women. And I ask that you would bless them, that you would provide their every need, protect these families as well. And Father, have your way this day. I'm just a vessel, a willing vessel. And I ask that you use this time that Dan and I get to guide and navigate today in a special way, that we would be a conduit of things that would bring glory to your name, and would advance your kingdom. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Well, everybody, I'm so thankful for this. We're going to kick things off with Tom Allen. Tom, I love you as an individual. You're an amazing man of talent and, history with all the things that you've done. You've got a career and a bio that is super impressive. And Tom, why don't you go ahead and unmute? Dan will go ahead and spotlight him. And we're going to kick things off. I'll let you go ahead and jump into things and share, Tom, and I'll have some questions for you as appropriate. But without further ado, my good friend and colleague, Tom Allen of Opango.
Well, thank you, Izzy, for that warm introduction, and I appreciate I'm in here in Texas, and my wife works in the school system, so we're really, grieving for those families and everything. So I appreciate you saying that. And so about me, I've been around for a while. I worked in small, medium, and large companies, primarily in the C-suite, managing engineering and product management. And I've delivered telco quality products to the global markets in every time zone on both sides of the equator. I've joined 2 companies to scale them from the gleam in the founder's eye to the exit. And as it turns out, I'm also an aviation enthusiast. I've been flying ever since, I don't even remember, like 5, 6 years old or something. So as a result of that, I've got this lifelong love of aviation, and I've got a fascination with technology. And we identified an opportunity to make the world a little safer by improving the safety record of general aviation airplanes through education and certifying pilots. So the problem we solve is we realize that other associations and small businesses often need to train and certify thousands of geographically dispersed members and partners without resources to manage the LMS. And being in the aviation space, you can Google LMS for aviation, but what we do is we actually manage the LMS for them. We do everything. We are the LMS administrators. We help with instructional design, and we have content developers, and we're really the outsourced e-learning department. So what we've done here at Opango is we've made e-learning simple. I met Greg Brown with the Helicopter Association in Las Vegas. And at that time, he was very frustrated because he had an emergency, and the best his current LMS provider could do is guarantee him a 7-day turnaround via email. So I gave him my business card, and I said, call me anytime. So he did. He called me about 3 times, and on the 3rd call, he invited me to Alexandria, Virginia for a day trip to meet the executive team, and I went there. As a result, we took the LMS business from Docebo, which is the largest LMS provider in the world, because we are reachable and we are responsive. And if you talk to Greg, he'll tell you, he said, I'm really good with helicopter operations. I don't know content delivery over the web. And if you look at the National Association of Flight Instructors, they're an all volunteer staff, and most of them are corporate pilots, so they're gone all the time. And so we need to be able to help them by doing this. And in fact, they just had their webinar last night to all of their membership, and they spotlighted us as one of the key member benefits to their entire organization. Pilot safety. This guy is a solopreneur. He's a highly sought after speaker trainer. And so we deliver all of his online content for him, and we manage all of that for him too. Last year, we spent several months working with the Helicopter Association on a project called 56 Seconds to Live, because helicopter operations really have a bad safety record. And what they needed to do is create this course, and I have to say myself, it's a very in-your-face course that if you make bad decisions in your helicopter flying, then when you make that last bad decision, you have about 56 seconds before you crash. Now, I'm sure everybody heard of Kobe Bryant out in LA. I was out there in LA the week after that happened. And here's sort of the nut of it is that this guy took off from wherever he took off or headed toward LA. But the Los Angeles helicopter squad was not flying that day because of bad weather. And I got to tell you, I'm a pilot myself. I don't have to know anything more than that to decide to just stay home, you know? So how do we do what we do? We're the Chick-fil-A of LMS platforms. We administer the platform for our customers. We develop and help them with their training strategies. We do content development as needed for them or for augmentation of their own staff. We help them with their marketing strategies. And we're very, very service oriented. We are responsive to our customers. We answer the phone, you know, we do whatever it is we need to do to make sure that they are heroes within their own organization. So we are the outsourced e-learning department. So everybody knows COVID has really forced the global education system to embrace web-based online learning and training. Employees are demanding it. So before COVID, they might get on an airplane and fly somewhere for some training. But nowadays, because of all this working at home, they are essentially refusing to go somewhere and they are demanding online training. So the LMS billings worldwide in 2019 was $9.64 billion. In 2021, it went to 15.8 billion and is estimated to be 37.9 billion by 2026. So our go-to-market strategy, what we really want to do is digital marketing and outreach. We need to really up our game there. We're still going to go to trade shows and industry events that sponsor, that have sponsorships in our target market. We need to add LMS administrators and account managers, and we need to accelerate our roadmap. Our executive team, James Roselle, I've worked with him probably most of my life. He's a super sharp guy and runs our education services. Tom Dennis is our marketing and brand management. Waylon Kelso is our sales guy. He's a real go-getter. Chris Kambala is our product development. He's here in Dallas. He has his entire team of people here and overseas. And then Charlie Quinn is somebody I've worked with at several companies too, and he's managing our human resources. Now here's my trusted advisors. Now here's Izzy. Izzy, I would say he brings up that idea of, you know, how iron sharpens iron. He's just been a great guy to work with and helped me sharpen up, you know, how we give our message and say what we say. Dan Matthews, outstanding financial guy, helped us put together our financial model and make sure it all makes sense to everybody. David Zumwalt, I've worked with him at a couple of companies. He's a serial entrepreneur, super guy, and just somebody you can really talk to and really clear up all your thinking around what you're doing. David Sim-Smith, he's a venture capitalist here in Dallas that I've known for years, so I run into him and forever, and he just really has a way of asking you all the right questions at the right time to make sure you're going in there and validate what you're doing. Pat Hamner is with Patriot Capital. Pat was on a board of a company I was with, and one day he comes walking in with his box, and he says, look what we're investing in. And he opens the box, and it's these inline skates called Heelys. And that was probably one of the most wildly successful startups that I've ever seen. I mean, they really did an unbelievable job of that. Dan Vermeyer.
It was wildly successful for emergency room visits at my household as well, Heelys.
Oh, well, you know, I would have never worn those Heelys. And, you know, when he showed them to us, I thought, you got to be kidding. I could not have been more wrong. Those things were on TV shows and probably broke a lot of legs and one thing and another, but I don't know, you know, they sure did okay with that. And by the way, those people did not do a traditional pitch. What they did was dropped off a video of their own children in these Heelys on Pat Hamner's front steps. And he looked at it, and his own children was watching it. And they were so excited about it. He decided his firm would invest in that company on the strength of how excited his kids were.
So, that's unbelievable. Amazing.
You know, It is amazing because, we're all told to do what we're doing right now. And these guys, they were geniuses. Dan Burmeyer is an M&A guy. I've known him for a while now. And, as any company like ours, at some point, there'll be an exit. And so we just want to make sure, and Dan is helping us make sure that we're all doing the right things at the right time so that we're kind of ready anytime. Bob Bolanger is our CFO advisor. He's from the SaaS marketplace, really gets what we're doing from a financial model point of view. So we're really couldn't be happier with my list of advisors here. So we're thinking, in probably around year 5, we'll have 21 million in revenue. We'll be breaking even somewhere around the end of year 2. And so this is our current model. Now, what we're looking for is we're looking for a total of 3.7 million, but what I think we'd like to do is start out with just getting a bridge of 1 million. So we don't really have to have it all to get going. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to really ramp up our digital marketing, our sales, add on some account managers and administrators. And with a product like ours, there's 2 things that are really important. One is you provide data analytics to your customers because they make data-driven decisions based on what the training looks like. And we also need to update our UI UX. That's a sort of a never-ending story. You're always having to up the game there. So that's kind of it. Izzy, do you have any questions that you want to ask me or?
Well, of course, I always do because I'm so fascinated by A, your platform, B, the industry in general. And I think what investors would love to know as they think about your idea and what you're doing with Opango is the scalability of this platform. And what's important for everyone to understand, while Tom was showcasing a use case scenario in aviation, Tom, can you just speak to the fact that with a platform like yours, this can be scaled and utilized across different verticals. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Well, on the surface, an LMS can serve any market. We tend to be in aviation, but we're also in cybersecurity. And I was just at a big cybersecurity conference here in Dallas yesterday, and I believe that it was a small attendance wise, but on the other hand, I think I'm going to ink one more deal out of that. And we are actually working on, you probably know that all these government subcontractors have to adhere to all these security standards nowadays, and we're just a perfect fit for that. And I've got somebody who's steeped in all of the big manufacturers like Lockheed Martin, people like that, that's helping us break in there. Healthcare is another biggie. And so I've got a channel partner that's taken our platform into here sort of in the South, but it's the Louisiana Hospital Association, and they've got to train all their staff on all the compliances, like HIPAA and things like that. Now, in addition to that, we have a little bit of everything. I got an HR company that's delivering, employee training around what we call the respectful workplace training. I've got another customer that's a big dog speaker trainer, and he teaches public speaking to like heads of state, Miss America contestants and stuff like that. So he is his content is just amazing. So we can be pretty much anywhere and everywhere, and I expect with our digital outreach that we'll end up with a broader customer base. But for my time, when we go to trade shows and things like that, it'll probably be mostly aviation related and cybersecurity related. But I just went to the big MRO show here in Dallas here a few weeks ago, and I'm already putting out quotes for people that I met there. And so we're doing great. We just can do anything and everything. And I think you asked about scalability. The Helicopter Association has 4,000 member companies, and all of their employees of all these companies also have access to this LMS. So things like Bell Helicopter, Airbus, Frasca, just about anybody you can imagine, all of their employees have access to it. And so it's a very scalable solution.
And what about in education? I mean, certainly seeing and what we talked about this morning with the tragic events in Texas, I have no doubt there's going to be families that say, you know what, I don't know if I'm sending my kid to school come this fall. I'd rather them
Well,
learn online and me do some homeschooling. What would you say to people that are considering that with an LMS platform and education system?
well, that certainly is a really nice fit for that, because my wife is a speech therapist in the school system,
Mhm.
and that whole topic is special. It just kind of comes and goes depending on what's going on, but right now it's just top of mind. And
Yeah.
I think people want they want what seems to be happening is sort of this hybrid thing where there are people who just want to go to be there in person, and there's other people that go, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with that. And so I think it will help out with us, but it's just hard to think about right now. I'll be honest with you. I just this thing happened this week. Now, the other thing is I have got two people that I'm talking to that want to do some active shooter training.
Yeah.
And one of them is a church. And, it just kills me. It just kills me to think that they even think they need that. The fact that they need it. So, you know what? I'm going to do what I can to help them out. But
Sure.
this whole situation has got us in a pickle. But I said here, COVID and that situation is actually created opportunity for me, and I feel a little sort of guilty about it. But on the other hand, something is needed. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yeah, it certainly does. And the other thing I wanted to touch on is you mentioned cybersecurity and everything else. And one of the things that I think could be a huge vertical for any LMS platform,
Yeah.
and especially yours, because you're so hands-on. And I love how you liken it to the Chick-fil-A of the LMS industry. Why? Because when you walk into a Chick-fil-A, while there's lots of different fast food options, there's something different about a Chick-fil-A, and
I'm telling you.
right down to a customer service. When I've got a household of 6, as you know, and we don't get a fast food price at a Chick-fil-A, and yet it's a fast food environment, but you're almost fine paying $60-$70 for a fast food experience with how kind they are, how receptive they are. They come over to your table. That's you in the LMS industry. Now, Picture this a second. What I'm envisioning is, what about in this new age of cloud services, computer systems that, my tech understanding is very low compared to Dan's, higher compared to others, but people run the gamut. And what's available today, when you open up a brand new Mac, when I changed from PC to Mac, I had no idea. I was on my own trying to figure out things and Googling and YouTubing videos and things like that. But I think the companies that will leverage an LMS platform like yours will have a tremendous edge when they say, hey, you have access to this for 90 days to have IT help desktop with your brand new computer that you just bought from us. And people are going to go in that direction and say, I have no clue when I open this box what to do. I think you have a huge opportunity there to help with people understanding technology.
I got to tell you, our first customer, we inked the deal, we onboarded them, and then they had called up with some kind of question. I've forgotten now what it was, but I remember they sent me an email to go, wow, service after the sale. I mean, it was like they were just shocked by it.
Yeah.
And but I got to tell you, see, when we go into somebody, our customer is good. I'll describe them like this: they're very good at what they do. Delivering content and managing a web application is not what they do. They know that. So when I let them know that we're going to do that for them, they just light up. Yeah. And we have a great conversation. But here's what actually happens: it usually takes about 2 or 3 months to get them onboarded with all their stuff, and then after that, this platform just kind of runs. Yeah. And so what they get most of, and I think the value that they get most of, is they know they can call whenever they want to. But the fact that they think they know they can, they don't really call you. I mean, I get emails and stuff like that, but if the phone rings, I answer it. And
that's so key, having that safety net where people can understand that you've got their back.
But so what I have found is, it doesn't matter who my competition is. what matters is, do these people who know nothing about this know that they have somebody who's going to catch their back when they have trouble?
Right, right. Well, Opango with Tom Allen right now offering a safe, that $1 million bridge on that 20% discount. You're talking about a post rev while it's low rev to the ability where he can scale with a tranche of capital. And as you close, you have about 1 minute here, Tom. Do me a favor and tell them, the investor that's considering, where can you scale this thing when you got $1 million in your hands?
Well, I'm going to tell you that way back when, I had an investor tell me I'd be better off producing product and getting customers instead of money. So I have this mindset, I don't have any money, so what am I going to do? I think I can go a long ways on $1 million, and once I get the digital marketing going and I get our some progress on our roadmap, and by the way, those things are both underway now. So the only question is it going to, how fast is it going to go? And so I don't know if that's really getting to the answer to your question, but we are already moving. We already have customers, we already have revenue. And what I want to do is probably with this, I want to get a situation where the company is, I have more people to help and I can actually onboard more customers. But we probably need to, by this time next year, be triple to maybe even 5x where we're at right now, if we could get this going.
All right.
And
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Tom.
oh, I was about to say, I just again, I mean, we are moving. We're not sitting there waiting.
Yes.
So we're moving. And what I'd like to do is get the right person to join us and on this journey. But the ship is at sea.
Amen. Well, awesome job, Tom. Tom Allen with Opango. Give him a round of applause. Great job. All right.
Thank you.
Robert
Thank you
Prasad.
so much, Izzy.
Yes, my pleasure, Tom. Robert Prasad, you are up next. Let's go ahead and spotlight her. Technizon, I think this is one of the most remarkable products. And, in this day and age, you're starting to see that people are starting to get it, right, Rama? That shoving these earbuds in their ears is probably over a period of time not the best thing to do. Just like when I was a teenager and my kids would, my friends would be blasting the radio in the car, right? And people were saying, well, you keep doing that over the years and going to concerts and stuff, it's going to affect your hearing. Well, is it going to affect your hearing putting those earbuds in your ears for years at volumes that I seemingly continue to increase, probably because it's affected my hearing over the years. But needless to say, what you have is nothing short of remarkable. To be able to have a piece of art like this, jewelry, and also be able to communicate with the outside world, it's absolutely remarkable. Would you help me welcome my colleague, my good friend, Rama Prasad and Technizon?
Yeah, thank you, Izzy. Thank you for the kind introduction. So our company, Technizon, which is technology, functional circuit added to jewelry, has been my inspiration for the past few years. And there's a lot of advantages that I'll go into, but the product is a wireless, Bluetooth connected audio earring. And currently the music function works really well. It's fun and valuable and safe to use. So the company Technizon aspires to be like the Intel or NVIDIA inside. So kind of the brains inside the computer or the brains inside the jewelry. Jewelry are, of course, wearable. And right here, the first product, earbuds. So what's the problem with earbuds, right? I mean, they work. We all use it. It's one of the most widely sold consumer electronics product out there in the world. And it's gone wireless. But wireless is always better. There's no wire to worry about. But there are issues if you think deeper or think carefully. And so right, the very first issue with in-ear earbuds where the speaker is sealed in the ear canal. So kind of think of it, the speaker is sealed in the ear canal right by the eardrum. And the reason I've become sensitized to all this is my father does suffer from hearing damage. He's approaching 80. He's almost completely lost his hearing, and there is associated comorbidity. So it's very real. And now my daughter, of course, wears these earbuds all the time. She uses it for studying, for during exercise and so on. And I'm like, is she really keeping track of how loud it is? Because it's like always there in her ear. So, it's one of these things. You can't just not worry about the hearing damage that could be going on. We shouldn't be. And then, at least my personal experience has been with these wireless earbuds, they're bigger than the wired ones, the piece that goes in the ear, and it pushes against the cartilage and causes pain. So again, you can't really overlook the fact that, I can't even use it because it's causing pain. And then of course it falls out. It doesn't fit very well in the ear, so it falls out. So, so kind of going a little bit more deep into this, there's a lot of science and anthropology and so on. So there's papers written on, how the human ear topology is quite complicated on the outside. And, there's all these kind of surfaces and, topology. And there's a lot of variation from human being to human being. That's the wonderful part of the human race, but there is a large variation, especially across the globe, across age groups, across genders. So there's a huge distribution. And, right here, like taking one of the simpler measurements across the ear, you can see that if you just look across the gender, there's a big distribution from 40 to 80 millimeters or 70 millimeters. And, who are these products being designed for? So this in-ear earbud, who are they designing for? Because there is a very fixed plastic dimension there. If it is being designed for this, for kind of the middle of maybe the male population, then you can see a majority of the females, it's going to be too big. It's going to be too big for them. So there is a problem. These wireless earbuds, even though they are wire free, they're actually very uncomfortable to wear. And this has borne out from all of the extensive voice of customer that I've done, talked to many females. They basically say, I don't wear these. Most of them, especially the older ones, they're like, I don't wear these earbuds. They just fall out, or they're too painful. They don't fit. They don't stay put. I think for the younger generation, they do use it, but it does fall out and it does cause pain. And one shouldn't have to accept pain. Just say, no, it's painful, but I use it anyway. It can be fixed. It can be made better. And we have done it. So kind of summarizing this, the problem is, it's so uncomfortable to wear that it causes pain, and it falls out often, gets lost. It does block out surrounding sound. So that creates unsafe situations. So if, somebody is, again, female, is got the AirPods or earbuds on and they goes for a run, she can't hear what's happening around her. And, if she gets into an accident, even once, once is too many. So I think the other kind of issue is, it doesn't fit with the attire. So won't it be great if it actually is in the form of an earring, and you can put it on in the morning and it fits and matches. the rest of the outfit. Another nuisance is you have to kind of carry it around. And on the other hand, jewelry is something that human beings have worn, especially females have worn for many, many centuries. Currently, across the globe, there are many countries where the average spend per capita per year is quite high. So it's part of the culture. Gifting, a lot of gifts are in the form of jewelry for birthday or some special occasion, and certainly for Christmas. And also, consumer electronics is also a nice gift item. So this is a nice this is an opportunity where one can combine both of these, the jewelry as well as the consumer electronics earbud, and then create this unique and new and highly useful gift for the customer. So what Technizon has developed is this function of audio, wireless audio built into the earring. Here's some designs we know work. We've started to sell the first product. Our website is live, so you can go to technizon.com and make a purchase, and we will ship a product to you. It sounds really good. In case you're wondering, the audio, the music sounds good. It's loud and clear. I'm wearing one. It's comfortable to wear. You can easily wear it all day. And this design actually, we've gotten a lot of great feedback that it's simple, clean, and modern design, and and we are selling it. So in case if this is new to someone, the audio does work very well on the earlobe. The sound comes out of the top of the earring, and it's close enough to the the auditory organs that you can hear it, but it doesn't. Even 3 or 4 inches away, the sound is, it tapers off. So you don't have to worry about like having a loudspeaker on your ear. It's not. It works really well. It's a great place to place the audio device. And there's just a whole host of applications or apps, software as a service type of apps and solutions that are possible. Certainly, healthcare and even health insurance, based on actual accurate and real-time data. And then there's kind of other types of SaaS solutions possible where you can have productivity from being connected to Zoom or being able to do walking meetings and things like that. So just a whole host of new types of solutions become possible. So kind of, what's the intellectual property here, or what is the innovation? So I'm an engineer, and kind of the team that we have is also, deep technologists. So basically, we've added functional circuit to jewelry, which means that the jewelry can first have unusual materials like metal, which is unusual for consumer electronics, as well as it will support a whole range of designs and form factors, which is common for jewelry. There's a whole range of designs and patterns and artwork that's possible. So Technizon has figured out how to incorporate or add functional jewelry to such jewelry, functional circuit to such jewelry designs. And there's a very exciting roadmap that's possible. And we are being intentional and strategic in what we are working on, and kind of synchronizing with how the component industry is moving forward. New chips get introduced all the time, new sensors, new transducers get introduced all the time, as well as energy storage or battery technology, and kind of how that gets implemented in this kind of product is what we are very excited about. And there's tremendous opportunity for new IP, new intellectual property, as well as, of course, new types of products and solutions. So we've done a lot of beta testing, and now we are selling the product. A lot of great feedback. What we are most excited about and focusing on is music for exercise. So that's the use case, and that's what our first lot of product will be sold for. So the competitive landscape, there's a lot of wearable companies out there. Primarily, there's 2 other earring companies, audio earring companies. One is in New York. It kind of looks like this. They introduced in 2017. And then the second one is Nova Audio in Germany. It's more of a clip-on, and it has real pearl. They're both higher price point. Nova is almost 600 euros, which is quite high. And Periphery is around $200. So it's a different price point than what we are targeting. We definitely want to be mass market, support mass market, but we also support customization. So full customization, a lot more design, and and of course then there'll be associated price point as well. So the market is huge. Jewelry is a very large market globally. Wearables is growing at a very rapid pace because of the smartwatch adoption. And hearables is the earbuds. So from a bottoms up analysis, just looking at USA, there's about 45 million women that work. So working age, about 25 to about 45, 55. So there's 45 million women that work in the US. If we look at 20% of them as our target market, kind of the younger, early adopter females, that's about 10 million women in US only. And with a price point of 100 to 150, that's about $1 billion revenue, a very conservative estimate. So it's a very real opportunity, and we need to make a move and get this done quickly. So as soon as we get our first lot of products sold, we aspire or seek to partner with other jewelry brands and become a supplier of this kind of product. So we do custom design for them and then supply it to them as well. So they can sell it under their brand. So here's kind of our milestones. We'll start by selling first on our own website, and then partner with smaller jewelry brands, and then go to larger and larger. Here's kind of our projected growth. We are in this angel round here, and second patent is filed, one copyright is issued, as well as trademark is filed. So I am the founder CEO. I have a lot of experience as a technology professional and as an engineering leader. And certainly I'm also a customer. I am passionate about kind of technology itself and these kind of products because I think there's opportunity to customize for customer segments that are overlooked a lot of the times. And the team, we have really experienced and deep advisors and team members. And we've made a lot of progress so far, and we partner locally with universities as well as other service providers. We have a great team of advisors, Rajiv, Michael, that are all here in the Midwest region. They've built companies before, both technology as well as hardware companies before. And Izzy has been working with our company. And we really appreciate his positive support and all of the deep experience he brings in raising funding. So we are seeking 2 million. We continue to make progress with our go-to-market as well as sales and revenue now. But we are seeking 2 million to hire a team and accelerate our IP development, accelerate our product development, and really start delivering on this promise of this new product segment. So the state of Minnesota has some great incentive programs. There's a 25% angel tax credit from the state of Minnesota, and as well as a grant program that the company will benefit from. So I am ready for Q&A.
All right, Rama, excellent job. The first thing that I want to do is, number one, compliment you on just the astounding progress you've been able to achieve with your company, technology-wise, and where that's going to go and impact the whole world of utilizing headphones, earbuds, and everything else. The money's going to come, I have no doubt, especially as we continue to heighten the visibility of Technizon and what you're doing there, the strong utility patents that you have and everything else. But what I want to point our attention to, and I'm going to have you stop sharing there really quickly, is just what we're seeing here. And if you notice what it says on the bottom of the screen there, headphones of tomorrow won't even go inside your ears. So this is available on the market today. Obviously, it's not nearly as beautiful as having jewelry that can produce the same effect here. Or and let's chat about this a second, Rama.
Sure.
Do you think a company like this is really opening up the floodgates for Technizon? Why?
Yeah.
Because when I first saw this in
Give
public,
me control of the slides.
I saw this in public, and I said, I don't know if this is really going to work. And I had a friend of mine that was using it, and he says, works better than my earbuds.
Yeah.
I don't use earbuds anymore. Can you just explain the engineering, the sound, and why this is going to be just a form factor and function and work really well, other than an earbud?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, just like I kind of described early in the presentation, the fact that the speaker is sealed in the ear canal, it's really a problem. And, all these big, huge companies are selling it that way. The Samsungs and Apples and everybody else. So I think, all of us have been on that boat. And the assumption is that's the way it has to be, that's the only way it can be done. Clearly, there are out-of-ear audio devices, wearable audio devices that now are getting introduced and getting adoption. So the picture you showed, the audio is sitting outside the ear. The speaker is louder. But clearly it works. I've actually used it. I've heard that when there is exercise, there's a lot of sweating. So people exercising, they can start sweating, and then the product needs to be a little bit more water robust. But yeah, the audio works. The speaker is audible right there, just like so. So what I'm wearing with the earring, the speaker's on top of the earlobe versus there, it's next to the ear, but it's kind of about the same distance, and the sound gets to the ear, but it tapers off or falls off, so anyone next to you won't be interrupted or distracted or bothered by it. It fits better. I think there's a lot of advantages to it. Now there's glasses, so there's audio built into the arm of the glasses, and again, it's audible. That's even a little bit even farther away, but it's close enough. It's all kind of within 1 inch of the ear canal, and a lot more comfortable to wear. I think
I
that's
say all
definitely.
this, Mama, I say all this because clearly the floodgates are going to open for Technizon, especially with your utility patent. So what I want to touch on there for a second is, as companies begin to develop these devices, undoubtedly they're going to discover your patents, right? And they may want to buy your company in the future to partner or to license your utility, but whatever it is,
Yeah.
I'm speculating right now, but it's not unlikely in the world of business for that to happen when you understand what's happened with other companies before.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you mentioned strong patents in your presentation. Can you let the investing public know what that means and the hurdles that you had to go through with that? Because I know it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy for sure. The patents need to be strong, and there needs to be a patent portfolio, which means a whole set of patents that cover a space. And you are right. This is going to be valuable. The timing is right. The trends are there, and we definitely have identified the problem, the issue, and the solution. And we are implementing the solution. So it's not just some theoretical, vision that whatever is some set of documents or reports or plans. Actually doing it, implementing it. The real customers are using it. They're seeing the value of it, and that it demonstrates that the patent and the invention has value. As more and more customers buy it gets more and more valuable. And the patent, you're right, we had to defend it. As we submitted, there was one office action, and we had to respond. And but I'm confident. I am a really excellent engineer, so I know I can invent. Do the first invention as well as invent around what's out there, the other patents that's out there, and the invention, make sure the invention is of high value to the customer. So based on all of my education and the experience I have working at great companies, I know how it's done. We are building up our patent portfolio, and you're right. I think some very interesting companies will be interested.
Well, you didn't speak much to it, but I'm sure everyone recognized the logos that were there. If you know companies around the world like Tanishq, if you know Verizon, you're already in discussions with these folks, high level or whatever it is. I don't want it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Verizon is very supportive. They've told us, and now we are ready to start selling. So we have their backing. Tanishq, we are already partnered with the manufacturer, and in fact, we will be selling the product that we are selling is manufactured by the Tanishq manufacturer. And then there's a couple other global brands, large brands that we've had many discussions with, and they are absolutely first supporting us already, so part of the team. And then, as we build our revenue and patent portfolio, it becomes a much, a bigger and a more compelling acquisition target.
And right now you're doing a $2 million safe, which at a valuation that I believe is undervalued. When I think about, here's what I fast forward to 2 to 5 years from now. I happen to use Verizon. You walk into a Verizon store when you're upgrading your phone or everything else, and at the closing counter there, when they're having you sign everything and everything else, they have screen protectors, earbuds, chargers, all these different things. And I have no doubt that the Technizon earbuds are going to be on that sales wall where they're being sold all over the country, all over the world. And I think about where an investor can step in now with just a $2 million tranche of capital, and where you could be in the future is just absolutely staggering, the potential results that you could see from that. So Rama, I'm so proud to be a part of your project. You're a brilliant engineer. I'm excited for you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the results after we continue to heighten the visibility. So great job, Rama Prasad. Give her a round of applause. Excellent, excellent. All right, Mike Verdun, you're up next.
I'm ready for you.
Spotlight Mike, there he is. How are we doing today, Mike?
We're doing great out here in Oregon.
Yes, you're out in Oregon, and it's always fun to have a professional athlete like yourself, having that background with knowing how to throw a really intense split-figure fastball is what you tell me, right? By the way, how fast did you ever get that ball?
102.
102 miles an hour. That is,
and I hit a lot. And I hit a lot of people. Listen, I'm intimidated here. I'm listening to Rama and the things that these guys and ladies are presenting. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. We've been this.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed to be a part of this circle. You know, I always tell, and you've probably heard me say this, as new as you are on the cohort, I always tell people, you know, if you find yourself to be the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I'm always learning and growing. And these guys that are presenting their companies, I'm just so blessed to be around the amazing brilliance that's here. And Mike, nothing short of yours. I know we goof off, and it's fun to always have our sessions together because you have fun while you're putting serious money together for investors. The opportunity that is at stake with what you're doing with Catalyst is absolutely incredible. I wanted to chat with you a little bit about that before you jump into any of the slide decks or anything like that, because, well, what I'll tell you right now is, given the case of what's happening in the stock market, crypto, it's all over the place. People are always trying to figure out how to get an edge. I mean, just the other day, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I was driving with my wife, and I found myself even asking the question, well, should I veer off here and go to Costco for gas, or should I, just head over and use our Safeway? I call them Fuel Points. But we spend so much money at the grocery store with a household of 6. They like to call them fuel points, but I call them Fuel Points, as much as you spend at the grocery store to get a few cents off a gallon. But let me tell you what, I drive an SUV, and I'm over $100 every time I use that, and filling that car up. But with the point I'm trying to make with a technology like yours, where people can get an edge, and I don't want to steal the thunder from what you're going to present towards the end here. But for people to have an edge in what you're doing with Catalyst to get money back, it is absolutely remarkable. Cryptocurrencies, attaching different credit. I mean, I'm going to let you go into it. But first, tell me a little bit about your background from EF Hutton. You were a registered rep, working at a broker-dealer. You had one of the largest transactions, if not the largest, in history. You and working with your team with Terry Atson. Go into a little bit about your background so investors know who you are and what you've done and the amazing technology team you've put together. I've been astounded since the first day I met you, Mike.
I was really blessed. I carried a baseball when I interviewed with EF Hutton. They hired me because of that. That was the whole deal. We had a softball league, so they said, can you still play? And my wheels still work, so yes. 47 years, stockbroker, retail broker, own my own firm. Terry Atson's one of our team members, and we'll show him here in a little bit. But I'd like to go to your question that you were getting ready to poise. And I heard it yesterday in talking to a group of investors, and they were talking about the market and how it's so up and down and what do you do? And after 47 years, I got to the point, as did Terry, that we tell people, listen, there's no secret sauce. What we're doing with this company, what Ram is doing, what Tom is doing, it's plain old hard work. You identify an opportunity, you develop a business plan, you get help, you do what you need to do. It's no different. So you spot something that's worth looking at, and then you make a decision and move on. And nobody knows. I've 40 some years in the industry. I never had a client ask me for my credentials. Okay. I had a baseball education. I had a college degree. I went to Vietnam. I came back. I was decorated a little bit, but had nothing to do with it. But nobody really cared. You know, I wore a nice suit, drove a nice Mercedes, and it was all good for 40 years. And I did really well, and I enjoyed, like you, what I did. And I was blessed to have a partner like Terry Atson. But what we have fits right into that category. We're timely. We have something that's ahead, and it's new, and it's radical, and it's disruptive. and it's coming, and we're there, and we're on the field, and we're ready to go. So
Is an exciting piece where a lot of other companies that come to us and want to leverage our platform, our network, and they're not ready to go. And that was one of the things that was so impressive with you, what you were able to navigate with financial institutions and the deep background working with Mark as well, and his background in banking and understanding all that. Can you share with investors, giving them a peek under the hood, what that was like and what you're going to be doing here with Catalyst?
we started kicking this can 2 years ago, and Mark Usinger, and we'll highlight him in a minute in his picture if it won't scare anybody, but we call Mark Dr. Brown of the movie Back to the Future. And not just because he looks like him, but he's an incredible visionary. He has way too many ideas, but these ideas took place with us and they created them, and we started tinkering, and we came to the point where we saw blockchain happening, Izzy, and this started with me. I was reading about how to do a PowerPoint presentation well early this morning. And Terry's busy putting the pages together and but it says, tell a story. And I am a storyteller, and we have a great story. And in the late 90s, I was watching a TV show, Max Kaiser, who was an interviewer. He was a stockbroker out of New York who moved into England and was interviewing fascinating people. And two young men came on. And those two men were the men that created and introduced blockchain. And it was fascinating. I mean, it captured me, and it hasn't gone away since. And what they said was, the reason we're doing this, Max, is because we don't trust banks anymore. Banks are not our trusted advisors and partners, and we've got to do something. We've got to find a currency that works. And these guys put it together. And then Bitcoin came up behind it, and whoever Satoshi is grabbed it, and they're given the credit for blockchain in 1991. And the second thing that I'm going to tell a story on is this. As I present to investors, I hear often, this hasn't been done, Mike. It can't be done, Mike. You know, and I go to television, I go to radio, I go to Edison, I go to the internet. When Terry and I did that transaction with Hewlett Packard in '86, we didn't have cell phones. And we had the old clickety-clack boards in our brokerage office. And but things change, and our whole presentation today is about change. We're going to talk about change and how to participate in it, and how we have, and we'll share that, and then we'll get to the point of asking for money. We've been blessed. We have an infusion of capital. We're more than ready. We're going to be able to go to production and have a finished product. We're blessed with the fact that we have a lot of folks that want to be members, well beyond what we pontificated and projected for year one. So in year one, we're saying we need 6,600 people, and it's going to produce $1 million plus in revenue, and we're going to be profitable to the net of $750,000. We probably have 20 or 30,000 members with their hands up ready to go. Our problem has been not being prepared to take the order because we hadn't raised enough capital. We have that taken care of now. In the next 90 days, we will have the capital, we will have the finished product, and we're out on the street, and we have a great team, and we believe being first is really important. And we know behind us you see them on TV every day. What's in your wallet? Okay.
That's right. That's
what
right.
we say is what's in your wallet of wallets, and that's our finished product. That's what we offer. We offer a single wallet that you can do your whole life of finances with.
And here's what's exciting about this. Aside from the $2 million that's already committed, and it's so great collaborating with you around this. I'm super stoked for you guys. But here's what I found really attractive about your company. You know, I talk about in startups and advisory roles and things of that nature about having what I call the gray-haired pilot. Okay.
Oh,
and
God.
why is the gray-haired pilot important? Okay.
Excuse me, are you seeing all the same faces I'm seeing? You see Mark Usinger? Okay, that's Dr. Brown. And
yeah,
unfortunately, he used to fly his own Gulfstream. Okay?
Well, it's a great parallel because you know, a friend of mine has his own beautiful what is it? Citation Bravo. So it's a jet, and he's got a full-time pilot. And he's telling me, Izzy, when I was interviewing pilots, I had all these, young guys and things like that. I was looking for the gray-haired pilot that wasn't like, oh, what does this button do? And what you love about you guys is you guys are the gray-haired pilots of financial services. You know what's behind the scenes, yet you were smart enough to hire the young team of technology enthusiasts, evangelists, the folks that understand crypto, NFTs, everything that you're putting into wallets. And I want Terry, because we've got to move it along here. I'm so excited about Catalyst, but I know, Terry, you wanted to share some slides. But I want to make sure the investor audience understand that while you see these gray-haired pilots, behind the scenes is a robust, energetic team of technologically incredibly efficient is not a strong enough word, but how strong their background is with technology and everything. I was so impressed from the start with you guys.
I want to say something to that and that's so important because as we're out presenting, we're obvious. We know who we are. Okay. Aside from Mark and Terry, they're old. I'm young, but the bottom line is people respond to us as older people, and we are. Okay. And what you're saying is just incredibly important. If you can we get Doug Milley on the screen? He's here.
Yeah, go ahead and spotlight him, Dan.
And the reason I do that, this goes to what you were just saying. Doug Milley down in Texas, he's our guy with card processing worldwide. He's the guy that's going to make.
Doug, sorry for what your state is going through there. The nation is feeling the pain, but just appreciate the people of Texas, especially right now.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you very much.
Tremendous asset to us, and you're right. This is one part of my presentation is we built a team. We did our homework, we did our research, we took it apart, we put it back together. Not different than what Rama was doing. Hers is much more detailed and scientific. We're people, and we're a process, and it's a simple process that's been going on forever with the banks. Mark helped us find a solution to pull it out and externalize it, as he uses the term, and lay it out there, put it back together so it fit us and fit our members. So thanks for showing, Doug.
Absolutely. Terry, did you want to share any slides and jump into any things? Because I've always been impressed with.
He's been driving me nuts with them.
Yeah, if you can throw me I don't know if you can, Dan, and you and Dan can figure this out. If you can throw me control this thing, and I'll put our slide. And
just
then
go ahead, share your screen. Just click share on the bottom there.
Right.
And we've released that to you. You should be able to do it, and go ahead and share whatever slide you want to share, and we'll talk through it.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'm going to need is I need to get rid of these guys over here. Can I see them somewhere else?
You're on a PC, Dan, if you can tell them what to do there.
Yeah, you just need to go to the presentation view.
Where's that, Dan?
Go to slideshow as a tab.
Click there.
And then start from beginning on the left side.
Boom, there it is.
Okay, now can I still see those? Can I see the
captions? I don't know how many screens you have there.
Well, we have a few. Let's just get going. Let's roll it. I can see it. We're good.
Okay, that's our first slide. Let's go back to the.
Okay, so I want something to say on that. Okay, Colorado C Corp, obviously.
See if I can keep up with you.
We started in the business of finding robust, disruptive financial technological assets. We bought technology with a patent pending. This is what got us started on this road. And this patent is very significant to us, and we're perfecting it. It's in place, but it allows us to bring the technology that we are through this card that we're going to get to. Our mission, very important, to create a financial instrument designed to disrupt the banking industry, help improve financial standing of our members, and empower them to make sound financial decisions. That's what we're about. And our secret sauce, the hard work, is through Mark's vision and the team that we have a card that is a debit card that we're going to put out in the world that's going to make everything happen in the palm of your hand and do all the things that it takes many other varieties to do. We call it the wallet of wallets. Okay, this is me, and you've had enough of me already. But by the way, I want to thank you, Iz, for acknowledging my military. That was a big deal to me. I got drafted out of law school, went to Vietnam, came back, worked at the Honor Guard, had some great things, and God's been good. And married, 7 children, 23 grandchildren, and these 2 great partners here, principals, founders in our company. Terry and I have been together in Wall Street for many, many years out of Long Beach, California. Going too fast. Stop there, Terry. No, I'm done with you. Go to change.
Well, that's what I did.
Thank you. Stay there. Get your hands off. Dan, do something with him, would you? Change is everything that we're about. Change is the topic in the Max Kaiser show for these 2 gentlemen that introduced blockchain. I mean, you got to think about it. These guys, they stood on this international TV platform and said, we've got this. In fact, they did. In fact, so-called Satoshi has given them credit, and they're listed in the white paper. They're the guys. They're still around. They're PhD guys. They created this thing off and running. And from that change, thank you, this inspired us. This created in us the catalyst to move forward and find something. This was born out of need and lack of trust. Banks, blockchain, change on steroids. It inspired change in us. It took us to the point where we think we've created a revolutionary all-in-one solution, disruptive, encrypted debit card. We don't go here out of the chute. Go back for a minute, Terry. We don't go to this 10% cash all back. We started presenting to people and talking about this as a lead was a bad idea because people challenge it, can't be done, blah, blah, blah. But net, after we run through the 27 other features and benefits that we bring, immediate cash back to everybody that uses that card for all purposes of 10% is a pretty significant thing. So we take it to the bottom. That's what we close with. And that's what we're offering. And people are lined up to do this with us, but also because they can control every other aspect of what they're doing. We're faster, we're leaner, we're less expensive. Okay, we are disruptive and we are intentional that way. We're coming to town to be disruptive with something we know is very helpful. And we also have a social consciousness, and not to get too big on it, but the last 3 lines are really important to us. We have the capability to finance, actually supporting, helping, and being significant to many people, including the underbanked populations and to the younger generations that just aren't quite getting it yet. And we are all about incorporating sustainability with this product. It's not once and done. As you see our financials, you got to look at this and say, whoa, you know, is that for real? Are these guys a little, you know, excited and over the line? No, we don't think so. We think the credit that Tom gave Dan on doing numbers is accurate. He pressure tests, he hurts you. He makes you, you know, get naked and pull that stuff apart until you kind of bleed a little bit, and then you get real. The numbers that he helped us get to are, they're incredible. We think within a 2-year period of time that Jeff Bezos or Tesla or somebody of that ilk or Alibaba will want to talk to us because of what we have. And this is us. This is what we do. We're an economic catalyst. We precipitate a change in business or technology. Thanks, Tara. This, we think, is a really nice acronym for who we are and what we do, because our wall of wallets isn't just one thing. It isn't just the debit card. Behind the wallet of wallets are all the other things I mentioned, and we'll hit them in a little bit. And like the Swiss Army knife, it's a knife until you open it up, and it does a lot of things. That's what we do. Catalyst Capital, we say, is changing the landscape of the financial tech industry with our predominant product. It's called the Inside Edge Club, the wallet of wallets. Your whole financial world is in the palm of your hands. Thank you. And these are the other 27, some of which I will mention here about the Inside Edge Club. that's our title for what we're bringing to the market in one piece. We believe the Inside Edge Club is embedded. It's our solution. And the Swiss Army knife is embedded in it, and it will change the industry. And everything you or anybody decides to have our card, they touch, they buy, this is what's going to happen. They're going to be able to buy easier. They can pay anything with that card. There's no cap and there's no limit. If somebody wants to come in and spend 10,000 or 100,000, we can accommodate that. We don't think that's going to be the case. Federal Reserve Board, we all know, is not a government agency, although people think it is, but they have some pretty good statistics. They report there are 330 million debit card users in the United States today. And there's the average usage is they use the card 63 times a month and spend $36 on average. And we intend to get a piece of that, and our financials will show you that. But that's the reality. Just under $3,000 a month, average citizen using a debit card is spending. One of the keys to what we have and what we purchased when we bought the technology is we created a fraud-proof payment. We're hack-proof. Everybody challenges that. Nothing's hack-proof. Okay, 99.9%. I mean, the best we can get. And we've had people, that qualified people, evaluate it and beta test it, and we have it. And this is at the center of what we're offering. That technology allows us to do these other things. Everything is instantaneous. We like to say, Izzy, that pizza you bought the other day with our card from Domino's, and you ordered it for $22.70 for you and Dan, because Dan eats a lot. By the time the pizza got to you, when you checked your account, you saw that 10% of that, $2.27, was already back in your account. That's how this works. It's instantaneous. There's no waiting. There's no waiting for anything. You don't wait in lines. You're not at the bank. You're not waiting for a reward check to be mailed to you. You don't have to check rebates for your bank account.
You kind of blasted right through 10%. I don't know if everyone is hearing that and the investor audience is hearing that.
I'm coming back to it, believe me.
10%, 10 back on every day. Now, I don't know if that applies to everything like gas or anything else. I'm sure you have your certain types of restrictions or what have you.
No restrictions, no caps, no limits.
So it doesn't matter if it's gas. It doesn't matter if it's food. It doesn't matter what it is. I use the card, I get 10% back.
That's right.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, everybody says it can't be done, and it can be done. And the pressure test that we did with you guys and with Dan indicates it can be done. And what most people don't understand, and I'm not holding myself up to be the knowledge guru in banks, that's Mark Usinger. But when you crawl into the rabbit hole and come out the other side and get inside the room with the banks, you find all kinds of things. And I don't like saying this because I like to think that we are new and we're first, and that's important in the race. But what's happening with the banks is not new. That money, that same money, is being accumulated at banks. It's being distributed to shareholders, rightfully so. It's been just, probably not rightfully for Jamie Dimon getting his $20 million contract a year. But the bottom line is it's already there. It's how you choose to use it. Because of our technology and what we have learned in how to do this, we're able to take a piece of all that revenue without giving anything. We're not greedy. We're a volume-driven organization. Year 5, Dan helped us get to 1.5 billion in revenue. I mean, that's a chunk in 5 years.
Jump to that slide there, because we've got to move this along, and I want to share.
Oh, I just got started.
I want to share what you're doing with DPM. I know it's so deep here, and we're just giving a thumbnail of what's happening with Catalyst. If you can scroll down to your numbers there, Terry, where some of the forecasting that Dan worked on with you. Now go ahead and
before we do, please give me 30 seconds on
go ahead.
Slide 14, Terry, on our product.
Yeah, I'm having trouble.
Okay, never mind.
At the top left, go to from current slide.
First year revenue.
No, next one over. Right, no, it was right to the right of from beginning, where it says from current slide.
Oh.
Right there. Click there. There you go.
Okay, is that where you want us?
Yeah, I just wanted you to talk about these numbers, but you said you needed 30 seconds or something else, so go ahead.
I wanted to go up 2 screens, Terry.
I'm
You
having
can hit the button
trouble.
up twice.
2 slides. I want to throw the 3 products. I want them. There you
There
go,
we
right
go.
there. This is the crux of what we're offering. Encrypted debit card. That's the encryption we bought. We had to hold a patent on. We're creating a smartphone app, which makes it simple and happening. Doug Melly, thank you. And then on the far right, we have the Wanna Store, and I won't belabor that, but it was an add-on, and we figured out what we've created is another membership, volunteer membership, if you want it, which gives you actionable data, trading, crypto, sports, buying, anything you need to do there. And that's it. Go to financials. There you go. Okay. So that's us. And there's no secret sauce. We're prepared. 10 days from now, we are taking a large chunk of money in, which allows us to $2 million that will allow us to finish our infrastructure build. We have acquired a Swiss trust and a Swiss Trust Corporation that allows us to look and feel like a real bank. We don't claim we are, but it gives us banking privileges, and it allows us to issue our own card. That's one of the keys of getting to the profitability that we get to, because Visa and MasterCard don't own it, and they charge their onerous prices. We don't have to. Doug Melly has seen to that. So we will have a card that will do everything. People will have no idea it's any different, except when they get it, they understand it's branded. And is that where you want me to go?
That if we can start wrapping up here, what I love about that is I can connect my Amex card, Discover, whatever it is,
Yep.
my crypto, I can connect it right to the Inside Edge Club, and it'll be my wallet. So I'm using my Inside Edge Club card, even though it could be connected with another card, so I can get my 10%. That's incredible.
The term you're looking for is linked. All your cards are linked. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And that's why we mean you have your whole financial world in the palm of your hand with your iPhone. Why invest? We think it's really an amazing investment opportunity. This morning, Terry reminded me, everybody thinks an investment opportunity is amazing. This is amazing. Tremendous profit potential. It's disruptive. It's causing radical change. I put new in first because we had the opportunity, Terry and I, years ago, to meet a gentleman, Jack Trout. And Trout wrote many books on investment and wise stuff. And he always claimed, Terry knew him personally, you be first and you got the leg up. We intend to be first. We feel, you watch TV like we do, Capital One, Samuel. I mean, who can outdo Samuel? What's in your wallet? What's in your wallet of wallets is what we'd like to ask. Okay. A presentation I did the other day, somebody reminded me of something that Victor Hugo said, and it was that last comment on that last slide. You go back last slide, Terry. Why invest? Yeah, why invest? An idea whose time has come. The idea has come. We're ready. We're on the field. We're ready to engage. We have our helmets. We're in shape. Let's do this thing. This is where we are today, and you can help me here if you want, Izzy, but we just committed. We have a commitment of 2 million we're bringing in. We think we're going to bring we want to bring another 2 million in. We're offering common shares. We're offering convertible promissory notes at 12%. There's a discount, and if you want to discourse on that, Izzy, go ahead.
Yeah, so what's incredible about this is us having been able to get that $2 million. So there's $3 million on the table here that's left over. I think that's going to go quickly based on the investor interest that's coming around. And obviously there's hiccups with what's going on in the stock market and everything else, just like everyone's feeling their pain. And coming off the heels of what I've been letting folks know about, just having paid their quarterlies and things like that. But investors are always looking for great ideas no matter what. So you keep plugging along here, and there's no doubt in my mind, with continuing to heighten the visibility of this opportunity, that's going to go quickly. So $2+ million already done. So we'll be pulling in another 3 here. But Mike, what you guys have pulled together, and putting aside the benefit of that note and the 20% discount at conversion and everything that you're doing, we can go into the details, the granular details as somebody expects. But where this can be in 5 years is the returns can be absolutely staggering. I mean, just imagine if you were able to invest in Capital One when they first got started out and where they are today, right? Because I think you guys are going to have a bigger impact. What you've done is allowed people to look under the hood. What's so disruptive about that is the banking institutions don't want you to know that there's 15, 20+ points in there on how they hold on to money and how there's pending transactions that don't clear in your account right away. And you guys are sharing the spoils saying, hey, we're going to pass this right on to our customers because we're doing a voluminous amount of transactions where these people are fat cats and no one has challenged them on this. And you guys have taken a bright guy like Doug Milley and figured that out. It's amazing. So I think it's going to become a household name. I'm super excited for you guys. Great job. Everyone, Mike Verdun, the whole Catalyst team, give them a round of applause. You guys are incredible. I expect nothing but great things for you guys. Great job.
Izzy, we're thinking about asking you to be the Samuel Jackson lookalike, about asking people on TV where their wallets. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Thank you for that, Mike. Great job. Okay, up next, my good friend and colleague, Patrick Henry. If we could spotlight him with Automag. And what I want to do first and foremost here, number one, related to Patrick and his great company, is address what has happened here this week. And no matter what your political persuasion may or may not be, let me just make it this loud and clear. No matter what anyone tells you, guns are not evil. They're agnostic. You put them in the hands of bad people, they do bad things. You put them in the hands of good people, they do good things, like fighting for freedom, like us having the amazing free enterprise system that has been protected for generations. And it wasn't done with a wrestling match. It was done with strength. And you know, what's interesting is I always go back, and I know, Patrick, you and I share the same faith. And in the Bible, it says, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and by violence it was taken by force. Okay? There are people in this world that want to do bad things, unfortunately. And here's what I don't like about this. They seemingly love to target what I call soft targets. In my neck of the woods here, I live in the area of Colorado where Fort Collins, Denver, and Boulder kind of triangulate themselves. We lost Patrick there. If you can bring him back, Dan. I don't know where he went, but he might have lost service. I don't know. But needless to say, going back to what I was saying here about Colorado, in Boulder last year, this gentleman who was in the Denver metropolis area, and I think he lived in an area called Arvada or Broomfield. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but he drove all the way to Boulder. And Boulder's a beautiful, affluent area, okay? But let's say it's a different culture than what's on the eastern side of Colorado going towards the plains, where you have farmers and ranchers and folks that have to protect their crops from coyotes and wolves and things like that. But needless to say, he went after a soft target like that in a grocery store. You try doing that in an area like Weld County, where, you know, an 80-year-old grandma is packing a handgun in her purse, that would have came to a quick stop. I'm thankful for people that know how to use guns. And what I love about what you're doing, Patrick, is you're not trying to get this into the hands of wrong people. You have an amazing gun that is like the Rolex of all handguns. Patrick, if you can unmute and share a little bit about that, where this all came from with Automag and the incredible iconic 44 Magnum handgun that Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood, made so popular from the 70s and 80s era with those films. So Patrick, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit try. There you go. Ask to unmute. Okay, I just put that up on the screen. See if you can hit that.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Perfect.
Good.
So, you know, can you talk a little bit, Patrick, about what that was like with your journey with Automag, because I think investors want to understand, where did this all come from? And how did you start off Automag?
Well, I want to say one thing before I get into Automatic. And I came here looking for funds, and now I need more funds because everybody you presented, I either want to buy their product or invest in their company or both. So you got a great, it's nice to be associated with companies and ideas like you have.
Appreciate that.
I can't, well, you muted for a minute, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that being said, yeah, I've been around for a while. I started manufacturing ammunition in the 70s when I was in high school for law enforcement, and it's evolved to a number of different businesses along the way. And I found that if I had one of 5 features in my project for the business, it did really well. And the number one thing, if I had exclusive rights to it, either a patent, trademark, or the brand that just kind of commanded that everybody buy from me. The second thing was high margins were always great. And the third thing was a built-in market. I didn't have to develop that. And the fourth thing was if I could get paid before I made the product or delivered the product. And the fifth thing, if I had the right people involved, and sometimes I'd have 1 or 2, and if I had more than one, it really worked out well. And this is the first time I've ever had all 5 at the same time, and it's really amazing. Just to give you a little background, the Automag was made, it was conceived in 1969 to be a big game hunting pistol. There was no such thing at the time. And in 1971, they made the first one, and they sold it for $1,000 less than what it cost to make. So you can imagine that was not a real good business model. So they went bankrupt several times and finally closed in '82. And in '83, Clint Eastwood used it in the Dirty Harry movie, and all of a sudden everybody had to have one, but yet they weren't available. So my original vision was, I'll just bring it back. I had no idea that when it was made, it had a number of these, I'll say. And so it took us a number of years to address all of those, and we have. And then we started production about a year and a half ago. And then we had a number between supply chain and COVID, had a number of issues. But the good news is we had demand. We never had for advertising or marketing. And so we've started last month, and this month will be above 40, and probably in 90 days we'll be around 100. But we'd like to accelerate the production and also put some safety factors in, like backup supply chain, additional buffer inventory, raw materials, and that type of thing. So that's why we're raising the funds. I'm confident that even if we don't raise funds, we can get there, but I just think it's important to move as quickly as possible. So, and another.
I stopped your video because it seems like the bandwidth was freezing up. So I just stopped that so I can hear your audio clear now.
Good. I'm at the NRA show. We have a booth here, and so I'm running off my cell phone. And and we're being mobbed at the table, and yet sometimes you can't see my people behind the booth because people are lined up too deep trying to get to the gun. And we also have a number
of what's the tenor of the environment? Again, given what's happened here this week.
I'd heard rumors that some of the groups like Black Lives Matter and so on, the more liberal groups were going to protest and all, and there was a ton of media out front, but there were no protesters. I think the media would like for there to be a conflict or some kind of issue or whatever, but as far as I can tell, none of that's happened yet. So,
sure.
Maybe it'll happen later.
Sure.
And anyway, and I'll try to keep it short as possible, and you can ask anything that I leave out in the Q&A. But basically, we're offering to do a 2-year convertible debt note, 12% interest. And our original forecast was that our bear case we'd sell 100 a month, a bull case would sell 300 a month. And for each 100 a month, we net about $2,500. Our gross selling price is about $4,000, and it costs us $1,300 to make. So I just say $1,500. And so at that rate, it's easy math. Every 100 you sell, you net $3 million a year. So if we sold 300, we'd net 9. And I've been told that our valuation would be about 8.4 times earning. So at 300 a month, the company would be worth about $25 million. But I'm sorry, at 100, it'd be worth 25 million. At 300 to be worth 75. And there's a cap on the convertible debt that basically caps it out of $40 million value. So that would basically give you a chance to double your money in 2 years. But on top of that, I just got a request from the largest independent gun distributor in the country. He did 158 million last year, and he said if I gave him exclusive rights, he would buy a minimum 500 a month, and at 500, that would have us net 15 million a year, which would put us above 120 million in value. So if you bought in at 40 million, you would triple or more your money.
And that's what I find so exciting about this, so that investors understand as you're listening live or listening to the recording, this company here is a post-revenue company. And oftentimes, I think when you're in environments like this, an investor assumes, oh, I'm trying to help get this off the ground. This is fully operational. You guys are making amazing guns. They're highly sought after. And you want to be able to facilitate those orders that are already present, number one. And number two, we have this commitment to buy hundreds of guns because of the demand that they have as a distributor for this particular gun. So that blows my mind right away when we know that we have this pent up demand where that's going to bring the valuation of the company. And we're doing a cap at 50 million with a 20% discount, which means, as you were saying, brings it down to $40 million at conversion. Well, when you just you don't even have to sharpen the pencil too much. You do some simple math and you start to understand where this could go. This company could be $100, $200 million company, dare I say, over a relatively short period of time. And seeing a triple on your money and something that, God forbid, the stock market goes haywire or whatever it is, there's still going to be a demand for these no matter what. And I'm very, very excited to be a part of that. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. And with what you're seeing over there right now, your tables being mobbed, that just tells me right away the tenor of wanting to see this gun that people would want to collect, not necessarily just go to the shooting range or to carry on them or anything. By the way, it weighs 4.5 pounds. You're not going to want to carry this around with you. But to know that they have a piece of history like this, and then the other things that AutoMag is going to be doing in the future with the licenses that you're acquiring, and I'll have you share on that in just a little bit. But it just tells you why is your table getting swarmed? Because you have something so unique that nobody else has. Speak to that a little bit, Patrick, and then what you're going to be doing here with other guns that you're acquiring licensing for.
Yeah, there are between 80 and 100 million gun owners in America, but 7.5 million own half of all the guns in America. If we only sold one gun out of 100 collectors, we would sell 75,000 guns, which our net's, like I say, 2,500. So we would gross, or our gross profit would be close to $200 million. And that's just for one gun. AutoMag made 5 or 6 other guns that weren't as popular that we also plan on bringing back. But in addition, we've been contacted by 6 different gun companies that no longer exist that made iconic guns. For example, the Bren 10 that was used in Miami Vice hasn't been made in 10 or 15 years. And we can get the rights to that and make it. So I wanted to change my vision. Originally was just to bring back the AutoMag. Now it's to be the Rolex of firearms, to make iconic guns that already have a market that have a large margin that I have exclusive rights to. So that would be the longer term plan. But even if all we did is just make the Automag, the margins or the return potential is really huge.
Yeah, we definitely see that. And given what has happened with the geopolitical risks, supply chain, there have been some, I don't know if I can call it an interruption because nothing's really stopped with you, but there have been challenges that you've overcome. And I can only imagine what you'd be able to do with a slug of cash at one time. Can you talk about that, what that's going to look like with facilitating orders, serving and agreeing to take on this order? I mean, this person's pursuing you to go ahead and sign something right away, one of the largest distributors in the country, if not the world. Can you speak to that and what the capital is going to do for the company and how it moves the needle forward so quickly?
Yep, we made our first guns February 2 years ago. And I thought, we're home free. All we have to do is make a few more every month. And it takes about 40 a month to break even. And 4 times we we had to shut down due to either supply chain, COVID, some issue. And there were 12 parts or processes that we only had one outside vendor to provide. And today we moved 7 of those in-house. 3 more will be complete within 90 days. And then there are 2, we're either going to get a secondary vendor or one of them, they cast the frames, and we'll get a second frame mold just as a backup to kind of secure our production. And then the rest of it, we're going to put it, we want to put some into automation. We're just making one shift today. So we're going to add some robotics and raw material feeders and that type thing to leverage the people we have on second and third shift to allow us to grow the numbers.
And those numbers, just based on what we've put together with Dan and forecasting, are incredibly conservative. And I know that you like to take a conservative approach, or as they say, under promise and over deliver. But what I've noticed over the years, and you tell me if there's any merit to this, Patrick, whenever there's geopolitical disruption and chaos and things like that happen, gun sales seem to go up. I don't know if it's the same group buying guns or more people saying, I need to go out and buy a gun. But can you speak to that with economic conditions and how you're being conservative, even in what we're seeing maybe to be a recession coming up, God forbid? I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully our administration can handle it and navigate it and figure out some things. But even if it just continues to go in a direction that people are concerned about, can you speak to the fact that there's still a demand for these handguns and just the Automag brand altogether?
Yeah, well, like I say, I've been in the business a long time, and I found that actually the best situation for my business was when either there was a gun law passed or a Democrat got in office that was kind of a little on the anti-gun side, because it creates this fear mentality that I better buy it while I still can. But the good thing about Automag is that people will buy this regardless of either economics, because the 7.5 million guys, they have a huge collection. They average over 50 guns in their collection. And this is something they can't get any other place, and they have not been able to buy in the past. So those guys buy regardless of economies or regardless of politics. And so we don't get a real kick when, because it's also not considered one of the more controversial type firearms like an assault rifle or whatever. It's a very large, it's a not non-concealable handgun. So there's never been a case where an Automag has been used in a crime. It's more just comparing to Rolex again. People don't buy Rolexes to find out what time it is, and they don't buy Automags to hunt big bears or whatever. Yeah. It's more of a trophy and a collector's item than it is. There countless number of people buy them and they never shoot them. Others shoot them one time and they show them off to their friends. It's not it was designed to be a big game hunting pistol, but in reality, it's become a collector's item. And it's also considered the top. And I've been contacted by a group, and they said the Automag is in the top 12 most iconic guns of history, along with the Colt 45 and the 1911 and the German Luger. It's one of those 12s. They made miniature scale models of the 12 most iconic guns, and one of them was the Automag. And there's probably 3,000 handguns been made over history, and it's just nice to be in the top 12, you know.
Wow. In closing here, just to wrap up so everyone understands the offer, we're doing a convertible note. We're raising a small tranche of $2 million with 12% per annum, simple interest a year. So effectively, that's 24% on your money over a 2-year period of time. That is going to convert at a 20% discount to a valuation cap of 50. Here's what that means for everybody, just so I can spell that out. That was a mouthful of what I was just explaining there. But let's say in 2 years, the company has a valuation of 60 million, 70 million, anything higher, whatever it is. Okay, wherever that valuation is, it's going to cap at 50 million, and you're going to get a 20% discount, which brings you down to 40 million. That is a screaming deal when you're seeing a post-revenue company. Why does Patrick want to do this? Well, he wants to grease the skids for the people that are knocking on the door saying, hey, I want this, and I can order hundreds of these for my clientele on an ongoing basis. That's one of the things that, okay, guys, take care. That's one of the things that you didn't mention, I failed to remember you mentioning, was this individual or this company that wants to order these guns from you can see, based on the demand that they already have, that they could be selling this, hundreds of them a month, for years, not just, for a few months, but for years. So again, looking at the parameters of this deal, it's a remarkable value that you're giving investors so that you can grease the skids and bring more value to your existing investors and to the Automag family of investors. I'm super excited with what you're doing with that. I'm proud to be a part of it. And I'm so glad you were able to join us today. Thank you so much, Patrick, for taking time out during the NRA show. I really appreciate that. I know that you're super busy. Any closing points that you have, Patrick, before we wrap up here?
I appreciate everything, and I do need to hop away, and I almost regret that. I'd love to see whatever else is being offered based on the first few offers I saw.
Well, appreciate that. It is being recorded. I will remind everybody of that as well. I know investors can't stay on for the whole time, but you can circle back to our website, and we'll probably have that up early next week of all the recordings. Patrick Henry, my good friend and colleague, give him a round of applause. Great job, Patrick. Have a great rest of your show. Have an incredible Memorial Day weekend. And we have up next Kevin Neal of P3ID. Kevin, here's someone that I'll call the gray-haired pilot of technology for sure. You've done so much in your remarkable career. You've been around Fortune 100, 500 companies. You know this industry inside and out. And I think when we start looking at the industry itself with securitizing information, documentation from mortgages to banking transactions, whatever it would be, undoubtedly, your technology is highly sought after and will continue to be highly sought after for the foreseeable future. So everyone, would you help me welcome my good friend and colleague, Kevin Neal of P3ID Technologies.
Wow, thanks, Izzy. I got big shoes to fill here. All the other presenters have fantastic companies, and I need to increase my raise because I want to invest in all these other companies too because they're so fantastic.
That's right. I can totally appreciate that. All right, Kevin, you're up. Go ahead.
Okay, let me go ahead and start here. Let's go here and let's start here. So first of all, thanks to Izzy and Dan and all the other presenters on this great event on the weekend before Memorial Day. So this is a very special weekend, and remember the reason for the weekend is friends, family, barbecue, hot dogs, but ultimately people that have sacrificed for our great country. So P3ID, my name's Kevin Neal. I'm the founder and CEO of P3ID, and the 3 Ps are people, process, and policy. So the most important thing is actually the people and how people adopt to technology. We are in the future of work business, work from home, transactional kind of business workflows. So as Izzy mentioned, I'm a 30-year veteran of this industry, the capture, document management, or information management industry. I love solving problems with technology. So as Izzy mentioned, I've done business with companies such as Wells Fargo Home Mortgage to do back in the days of the low refinance. They were processing millions and millions of documents a day. So I helped them get their business process workflow efficiency better at Wells Fargo Home Mortgage. I'll also work with companies like Citibank at their on some of their workflow. We've also worked at companies like Cerner Corporation for their healthcare medical records. And then one that was very fun was Care Ambulance, where we actually put network attached scanners and a UPS power supply in the actual ambulances. So when they did runs from the ambulance to the rehab center, then they can actually just collect documents and collect information inside the ambulance. So it was very unique and innovative. We were a company that's been doing this for a long time. So this was not a pivot when COVID happened, but COVID actually happened to bring sincere attention to the work from home. So even when people go back to the office, a lot of people are still going to be working remote. So that's what we do. We help collect and then analyze and organize and then securely store your data for things like analytics. So part of the problem is collecting data and then analyzing data is not an easy thing to do. So here's just some huge examples in government, most specifically, but the first one was PPP. So of the $800 billion, and these numbers are actually a little stale, but in the $800 billion that this newspaper report from New York Times, there was $76 billion of fraud. And again, I'm seeing the numbers are way, way higher than that. So the point is there's like hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud because even if they could collect the data, they didn't analyze the data. So there was a lot of repeats and illegitimate claims. This should have never happened. I mean, it was totally predictable, but it's a terrible shame because people that really could use that money went to fraud. So collecting data, analyzing data is very hard. There's another example with the United States Postal Service. They had this project to collect votes via mobile blockchain voting, but they perceived this as insecure, which shouldn't be a problem. You can secure the blockchain, as was talked about earlier, for financial transactions, for voting transactions. So again, even the Postal Service with their massive resources, they're having difficulties, implementing a solution due to security. And then a very fun quote, and things I'm going to talk about today is the IRS recently said the paper is IRS's kryptonite. So a lot of the IRS refunds that some people have been waiting for a year to get their refunds. So just collecting data for these big government organizations is very, very challenging, much less analyzing. So that's just setting the stage. I have no illusions that we're going to the IRS or the Postal Service tomorrow, but we can solve these problems as a small company, and then we can scale up. Okay, so we're focused on small and medium businesses right now, and the customer pains basically are they're losing revenue because they haven't digitized their organization. They don't have access to collaborate in real time. They don't have access to information. Basically, it's all trapped in your desk drawer, it's trapped on your cell phone, you can't get it into a workflow. So things like credit cards disputes or proof of service situations. I can't prove that I performed a service. I don't have your signature on an electronic document. Lost receipts. Maybe, you say, hey, I wasn't at Burger King because I didn't sign my credit card receipt. So if somebody disputes it, you have no proof that you ever performed those services. And what that results in is client dissatisfaction and no trust in your company. On national average, companies write off a statistic that I saw about 1.5% is written off to bad debt. So if you've got a company of any kind of size, a 1.5% of just writing it off because you don't have access to the proper digital documents and the proper proof of service or proof of delivery, then that's a real problem. So that said, P3ID is solving these problems, and basically our solutions help companies create and securely access their data to promote business efficiency. And that's the first thing that we're solving, because that helps the company be more efficient and reduce cost. So things like redundant business processes or any kind of manual labor that in a workflow, we help eliminate that or automate that business process. So that's the first part of what we're solving. We come in and we say, hey, there's a clear ROI on your workflow, this manual process before. We can automate it digitally after. This is the clear ROI. So that's easy to prove. And the next thing we do is deliver that through secure cloud with the analytics. So at the end of the day, the analytics is very important, but you can't have a cloud solution that's insecure. You just cannot have it, but people are cutting corners all over the place. So at the end of the day, the analogy we like to use is we're going to be the Fort Knox of authenticated documents. So we want to offer this way to collect, organize, index, and then store your documents for collaboration and to improve your business. So about us, we're a company of great culture. So as I mentioned, the 3 Ps are people, process, and policy. And people is first because we want to hire great people. We have a great team and we work with great partners. So that's very important to us to recruit the best talent. And you'll see our team in a minute here. And we want to create a great working environment. So that's very important to us and also for our customers. We are a first mover innovator from this kind of legacy behind the corporate firewall, transitioning our beautiful technologies that have worked for a long time and helped a lot of businesses. But when you're transitioning to cloud, you have a lot of other concerns like navigating firewalls and a lot of other technical considerations, encryption and authentication. So we're bringing this efficiency of business process automation, but also the security that's needed for those kind of things. We are going to be a leading innovator in the 3 chosen markets, retail, healthcare, and government, and capture the cloud solutions. And there's a reason why we picked those 3 vertical markets. It wasn't just happenstance and we just said, oh, throw something at the dartboard or there's a huge market. We actually have subject matter expertise in those markets, and that's a reason why we've chosen those 3. So that's a little bit about us. This is a very busy slide, but this is just to kind of just at the end of the day, this is what the customers want. They want a rich dashboard of their business process, a 360 view of what's going on. So P3 helps collect all the data behind the scenes here and then feed it into applications. So we make applications like, in this case, this is a healthcare analytics application. We make this application much smarter and much better because we can provide all the data that they need from machines that they have in the hospital to pictures that they take from the room inspections or medical records documents that they're scanning or surveys. So we can collect all that information and make these systems better. This is a healthcare analytics. We can make Salesforce.com better. We can make QuickBooks better because we can collect, for Salesforce, we can collect the business cards and extract the data and put it in Salesforce. And then you could follow up with your customer immediately and say, I'm going to schedule a sales call just in seconds instead of having a stack of business cards to type all that in. For QuickBooks, we can collect receipts. And you can actually be filing your expense reimbursement while you're still traveling instead of waiting to get back to the office to get reimbursed. So at the end of the day, this is what people want. They want analytics. They want to deliver some insight into their data. So how is P3 doing that? We are the glue. And let me just start my pointer here. We are the glue in between the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, that are creating scanning devices and copy machines and digital copiers. So they can scan documents or we can capture documents via cell phones, but they need a software service platform. So we're B2B software as a service cloud that integrates with all these devices and allows us to easily collect, organize, and store the documents for these 3 vertical markets that we've picked of retail, healthcare, and government. Our go-to-market is through these channel partners. So we do have some reseller partners that are taking our products and they actually just sell our products, our branded products, P3ID products, and they'll get a commission for it. So we already have a couple resellers that are actively promoting and selling our solutions. We also have alliance partners, and these are people that will recommend our solution. So they might be a hospital cleaning services like Sodexo, and they will say, hey, you know what? We do the physical cleaning of the hospitals and the hotel rooms and whatever, but we want to offer this analytic solution that allows us to be more integrated into the customers that we're serving. So they just would be a referral kind of partner. Then we also have integration partners using our technologies, our APIs and SDKs integrating with us. So we have a combined solution, and then we're all going to market separately. They'll go to market with their solution that's integrating our stuff, and then we will go to market with our stuff that's integrated their things. And I have a few examples of that. The market's massive, according to InfoSource. This is data from 2021. We'll get some updated data soon at their conference at the end of this year. It's a $32 billion worldwide market for the capture industry, and it's a 17% CAGR, so every year growing at 17%. The US market itself is $5.5 billion of serviceable. And then P3ID, according to our estimations, our obtainable market, given the three verticals that we've chosen in our product solution, we feel that there's about a $2 billion obtainable market in the near term. This is a great case study that I love to talk about because it's an example of what we can duplicate time and time again. And this is why P3 is going to be a scalable company, because we offer these three components. Basically, there's the ingest portion, there's the content understanding portion, and then there's a storage portion. So in this case, we have three of our products: ScanBot, Docs Extract, and Docs in the Cloud. And it's an example of a customer. One of our customers is Big O Tire Stores and Jiffy Lubes. They're sister companies. So Big O Tires does the tire changes, Jiffy Lubes does the oil changes on your cars. So you bring in your car, they'll perform a service. So the problem with Big O Tires and Jiffy Lubes was that they were historically taking the invoice that they would print out for the service, they would have the customer physically sign it, and then they would ship it to an offsite box storage company. So you can imagine anytime the customer said, hey, I didn't get my 5th tire, or I didn't get my 8th liter of oil, then Big O Tires and Jiffy Lubes were having to call the box storage company to retrieve that document. Can you fax it to me or courier it back to me? So Big O Tires and Jiffy Lubes were paying for the actual pickup of the documents, the physical storage of the documents, and then the retrieval of the documents. So again, to that point of the 1.5% of bad debt written off, they were writing bad debt off. So that was number one concern. And secondly, they're actually paying all those fees to the offsite box storage. So what we did was our partners sold them the hardware. We don't sell hardware because it's too low margin, but the partner sold them the hardware. And what we did was provide the cloud services that connected into that hardware. So they deployed these at the Big O Tires and Jiffy Lubes, and now they print out the invoice just like they always have. They have the customer physically sign it, and then they immediately scan it into their system using our technology, ScanBot. And then we do optical character recognition and get off some data like the customer name, the VIN number, other details about the service. We can extract the data, and then we actually store it in a document management system. So now if the customer calls and disputes a service, they could just say, the Big O Tires or Jiffy Lubes people just pull it up and they say, hey, I'm going to email you this proof of service. And the customer says, oh, yeah, I do remember. That 5th tire was put in the trunk. I just forgot. So just honest disputes. And this is a way to recover documents. So this is a duplicable, kind of replicable kind of solution that we're going to sell to our customers time and time again. These are some land and expand examples. So you can see here on the left side, London, New York Power Authority, London Stock Exchange, United Nations, Kim's Chocolates. These are all customers that we have sold an on-premise software to, and it's solving a little bit of their workflow problems. So they're doing barcode recognition, or they're doing kind of simple OCR folder watching. So we've solved a problem with this, but these are historical customers. It's the partners of ours that have been transitioned to us. So what we're doing is we've already landed these customers, and we're going to expand them to additional services. Like a lot of them want to go to mobile, and a lot of them are transitioning to cloud, or a lot of them are want more sophisticated document types. So we're engaged with all these customers. They're existing customers that we're talking about new kinds of services for them. So there is revenue here. And then there's also these alliance partners that I talked about, like Sodexo. Again, they do the hospital cleaning, the hotel cleaning kind of services. So they actually can offer an analytics application that says, okay, after I clean the hospitals, I want to collect some data from the room, the pictures of the room, some pictures of the barcodes on the machines that they've serviced or whatever, and then put in an analytics so that maybe the hospital can say, okay, I know this room was cleaned on this date, this time, by this person, and these are they tested the air, surface, and water, and these are all the metrics of it. So it helps you really, it offers a company like Sodexo a way to offer additional services in addition to their core business. These are some of the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. These are hardware manufacturers, and P3ID is very strategic to these companies. I won't read all these quotes, but we were quoted by the CEO over at Fujitsu Scanner Division. And he basically said P3's installation and integration services can accelerate customer deployments. We were quoted by Kodak General Manager. He said our security portfolio is very key to their products. And then the CEO over at Visionaire, who's a Xerox license company, he also said P3's cloud-hosted solution is very strategic to their future. So we've got 3 MOUs by these hardware companies. So we're making the compatible software. These are great companies that make terrific hardware, but they're not in the cloud hosting business, and they don't have complete solutions. So they need partners like P3, who's being a first mover in the cloud, to help them make their products more appealing. This is a big deal for our go-to-market. We've got a couple different strategies through a reseller partner channel, as I mentioned. So we have reseller partners that are actually active selling our third-party products. We also have the engagements with the hardware manufacturers that I just mentioned. So we're working programs and we're working deals with each one of the hardware manufacturers. They love it because we help their hardware be more interesting and valuable and relevant in today's digital era. And then we also do engage with the direct to the end user customers, so we can understand their use cases and work with them. I mentioned we are in 3 different verticals of healthcare, retail, and government. And then there's other use cases that are very interesting that I'll talk about in a minute for deal rooms. So if we're already collecting documents and we're securing documents, why can't we offer one repository where multiple parties can access this, and then we can give rights and revoke access and have very transparent deal rooms. So in the case of oil and gas leases, when you drill for oil, the layers of the land are actually owned by different parties often. So there's all kinds of contracts and reviews and all kinds of legal stuff that you have to review. So if you could put all that in a deal room, analyze the data, pull out the important terms and clauses and agreements all in real time, then that saves lawyers a lot of time and money. This is how we make money. So I already talked about ScanBot and DocsExtract. These are what I consider hero products, and these are 3 of them. So ScanBot, as you saw with the Big O Tire and Jiffy Lubes, is a $25,000 per year annual recurring cost. So we need to get 13 of these, so we're well on our way to get those every year to achieve $325,000 for that product. And each product is a microservice, so we want to run it. Each one has its own P&L. We want to have product management for it, a sales team for it. So that's an example of ScanBot. So this is a very popular item. MobileBot's actually even more popular because it's with the mobile-enabled workforce, it allows you to collect information from your mobile devices, like the room cleaning I mentioned. This one's about $22,500 a year. So you need to get 10 of these to $22,500. And then DocsExtract, and also a very popular cloud service to do things like invoice processing, receipts processing, document processing. So this is, we're close to getting 2 six-figure deals for Docs Extract. So you can see, all in all, if you add these together, this is where we'll get our first $1 million of annual recurring revenue through these products. So we're landing these products, and then there's add-ons for this. Okay, this is also very exciting. Partner integrations, I think, is going to be a very key to success. But because once we get these integrated, there's a go-to-market plan that we can execute for each one of these. So in these solutions, they're using our one ScanBot product, and they're using our API, our application programmers interface, to create a solution. So each one of these customers or partners has their own customer base. They have their own go-to-market. So we're going to encourage that. So as one of these deals, one of these six-figure deals that we're close to closing, we're going to integrate handwriting technology. So we will integrate that technology, and then we will close this one customer for 6 figures. And then we will have a product that we can go to the market in general with handwriting. So with that partner, we're going to have a press release. We're going to have a go-to-market. So this is close to done. So this is very exciting. And then I'll go back to here because this is a very area of attention that I have to bring. We have a healthcare analytics application that's going to be integrated. This facial recognition, we've actually accelerated that. I saw the prototype this morning, as a matter of fact. We have partners in healthcare dentistry, and then conversational AI to talk to your machines like you talk to your Alexa or Amazon Echo and all your Google Home devices. So to actually talk to MobileBot and ScanBot and Docs Extract and say, hey, I want to scan this document to Izzy, make sure that the PII data is redacted, and then also send Dan a copy. So you just talk to your systems. And it might sound radical today, but in the end, that's how people will interact with their devices and their machines. I skipped over these because these two are blockchain NFT, and we're going to put a heavy focus on this because we, P3ID, is at the edge, and we can capture data from cell phones and all kinds of devices and scanners and machines and digital copier machines. We have a unique opportunity to use blockchain and NFT to take those scanned images, for example, and tokenize those using non-fungible tokens, to tokenize things like medical records, to tokenize death certificates, to tokenize mortgages, home mortgages, any kind of things that you could digitize. We can now say we're going to digitize them in the example of consent. We can digitize all your medical records, and you can give consent to Dan, and Dan's got access to all my medical records, and then I could revoke access to Dan because I want to switch it to Izzy. So today, you know how it is, you give your medical records, and the insurance companies, the EMR companies, they own your data forever. They're likely, even if you ask them to delete it, they don't have the capability, or they can't, or they won't, or they don't have that. So in this case, you could use NFT to revoke access and give it to other parties. So we're going to use blockchain and NFT for consent. We're also going to provide authenticity because, as I mentioned, maybe a home deed. There's a lot of, you even see it on TV commercials about people getting home deeds and getting access to documents and creating fraudulent documents with all kinds of Photoshop and all that. So you could say, actually, this is an authentic document. This is a birth certificate. This is a death certificate. This is whatever, a home title. This is an image of a baseball card that I scanned. So there's all kinds of use cases around blockchain and NFT that we're working on. This is an example of us integrated with one of our partners. The partner is EnviroSafe. So they collect air, surface, and water samples for hospital rooms, for hotel rooms, and then they provide it into an analytics application. So that's where P3 fits. They have a little mobile application where they could take a picture, hospital rooms, the hotel rooms, and they could say, hey, this is the room before, this is the room after. Here's some e-form I could fill out. So you can see that we contribute to this application in a very useful way that makes their application much better. So they love it that we're integrated and they can easily collect data. So let me kind of end where I started, was this holy grail of delivering insight. when I worked with Cerner, one of the things they said was they wanted to find the cure to cancer. And they had this huge data set of petabytes of data, but they couldn't really get into it because they hadn't indexed it with a really data rich kind of a data set so that they could say, hey, here's a likely cause for cancer in this area. And then they could drill down. So maybe it doesn't surface the perfect answer, but if you could get the data, analyze the data, organize the data, then we can, make the world a better place. Of course, an important point is also providing businesses, reduce labor costs, improved efficiencies. So this is kind of the holy grail of what we want to do. We have a marketing program. This is very important to get our reseller partners up and quickly. So all of our website content, our brochures, our PowerPoints, our videos, we brand them with the partner's logo, the contact information. So the partners obviously encouraged to deliver these materials. And this is a wonderful program. We get reseller partners up to speed really quickly. They're delivering our message about our products and our solutions. So this is a very unique thing that we're being able to scale up really quickly. Our team is absolutely outstanding. I mentioned that, I'm a 30-year veteran. I've worked in distribution. I've worked at a leading hardware company, Fujitsu. I worked at a leading OCR, natural language software company, Abby. Previously, Ed Stevens, he's 33 plus years at Cerner Corporation. So there was a reason why we chose healthcare as one of our 3 verticals. He happens to be expert at healthcare. Bill Edwards is 40 plus years as a Navy captain, recently retired. He's an expert in blockchain and cryptography. So he's handling our government, our federal government, state government business unit. So he's an expert. That's where we want to develop a lot of patents around cryptography and encryption and blockchain. And then Steve No, he was at AutoNation when we did the deal together. He's left AutoNation since, but he's an expert at business process workflow. AutoNation was a great success. Mark Jackson himself loved it, talked about it. He's also done Illinois DMV and many, many other customers. So Steve's about 30 years. He's an ex-Army helicopter pilot. So we've got a really, really outstanding team. We also have a board of advisors that we've been meeting for the last 2 years. These are all ex-CEOs, ex-CTOs, and they're contributing to a lot of value to the P3ID business. We have a full 5-year plan for our financials out to our forecast is $150 million in the 5th year. And companies conservatively in our space is anywhere from 3 to 20x revenue. I personally have invested $250,000 bootstrap company. We've raised a little tiny $25,000 equity investment. We also do have $125,000 line of credit. Our burn rate's really low right now, only about 10K a month. We forecast to run our margins at an average of 75%, starting at like 71% year 1 up to 80% in year 5. We'll get the economies of scale. We think we can be profitable within 2 years. And a very important thing about our financials is that we consider a lot of our products, I mentioned there were microservices, so there's a few of them, not just one, is that a lot of them are MVP status. So we don't have to spend a lot of money on R&D. We think about 30% of our raise will be on R&D. Most of it is to attack our existing pipeline. We have a lot of opportunities, like I mentioned, and we just need the team to babysit the customer, manage the paid pilot so that the customer has a beautiful experience. We don't want to have customers that are disappointed. So 60% will be basically on a team that babysits our opportunities and make sure the customer's happy and get them to closure. And then 10% G&A. So we'll focus on most sales and marketing. With that, and then I'll take any questions, is that we're raising a $2 million seed round on SAFER convertible notes, 20% conversion discount and $25,000 increments. It's been my pleasure to share this information today. Thanks, Izzy. Thanks, Dan. Thanks to all the other cohort members. Kevin Neal at P3ID. We've got the future of work, digital transformation solutions. So we're ready for the investment partner to get this done.
Great job, Kevin Neal. Give him a round of applause. Excellent job. Excellent presentation. I'll be minimal on the comments and questions only because we have to move things along, and you took a good chunk of time there just really articulating this well. So great job there. What I do want to mention right away is with your partner, Steve No. One of the things I love about FEP Collaborative, hence the name, is being able to collaborate in this cohort. And you mentioned that he's an ex-Army helicopter pilot, as it states there. And Tom Allen, as you know, with his background with piloting and being the Helicopter Association and everything else, I immediately see right away with his company how you guys could potentially collaborate. And you tell me if you think I'm going in the right direction with this, Tom. But when someone completes a course, and now they have a certificate that says that they've completed a certain course or continuing education or anything like that, that they would then need your services to have an NFT or something to securitize that document, that no one can ever go back in time and say, oh, no, you didn't. We don't have a record of you ever doing this.
You were cutting on this end, you were cutting out. I didn't really hear what you said.
Oh, can you guys hear me okay still?
I can, yes.
Okay, so what I was essentially saying there, Tom, is the benefit of your company when someone takes a course through the LMS platform and then being able to securitize that they did indeed take the course and it lives forever in time with an NFT to make sure that no one can ever say, no, they never completed this. You know, they're not certified in this area or what have you. So I think there's definitely value with you guys collaborating with one another and how you could do that in the future.
Izzy, I would say absolutely, because university transcripts is a big deal. You know, diplomas, those I know when people, job seekers, you know, the employers, they want to verify that these are legitimate things, and there's a lot of fraud in that. You know, I have fake diplomas and fake transcripts and all this kind of stuff. So once they complete the course in Tom's Opango, then yeah, tokenize it and make sure this is an authentic document. That's a very good use case, and that could be easily done.
Absolutely. Well, great job, Kevin Neal. Appreciate all you do. I'm super stoked to be connected with you and collaborating on this. I think you've got a remarkable company that is going to, certainly with strategic alliances, I love that, how that can be impacted with the DocuSigns of the world and things like that. So again, Kevin Neal, great job with P3ID. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
We've got Duncan Burns with VeggieDome. And my good friend and colleague, Duncan Burns here, I have your product on my kitchen counter. And one of the things that I have found so remarkable about it is what it has incited in our home with having fresh fruits and vegetables. It's always the topic. We need to fill the VeggieDome again, or we don't have this, or we don't have that. And our kids love snacking on fresh fruits and vegetables. And I really appreciate you heightening the visibility of the desperate need that not only my household, but this country has, if not the world, for eating fresh fruits and vegetables. And what you're doing with, let's throw quotes around technology that you kind of bumped into with the BioValve effect of what you're doing with the VeggieDome. You know, this isn't just a countertop greenhouse, if you will. There's some science behind this that you are blessed to find out. And it's just amazing of how simple it is and yet how important it is for the ethylene gas to escape. So without further ado, my good friend and colleague, Duncan Burns of VeggieDome. Go ahead, Duncan, you're up.
Thank you, Izzy. I appreciate that great introduction. And I guess I'll go straight to my presentation here. That the VeggieDome is a patented device. Let me go back to that first slide, sorry. And the design is something that I developed 15 years ago. And at the time, I wanted my kids to be able to come home from school and have fresh vegetables out on the table and not have them all wilted because they've been sitting out on the table for 6 hours or 8 hours. And I really just, there's some accidents in this that became so beneficial. One is that when I solved this problem for my kids to be able to have fresh vegetables, I actually solved more than just a snack problem. It became something that was much far reaching. And the idea is that in our nation, we're throwing away 40% of our vegetables from the fridge. That's $100 a month per household. And we just accept it. Now that lettuce has gone up to $3 a head of lettuce, it's even more than that. The thing is, it's out of mind because 90% of Americans don't eat the vegetables. It's in the fridge, in a plastic bag, in the dark. So many times you discover it a couple of days later, or the bag opened up and you've ruined the entire head of lettuce. And we really should be eating more vegetables, and we want to. Many times there's New Year's resolutions are, I'm going to eat more vegetables. I'm going to eat healthier this year. You know what? It's not going to happen, the change, unless you change something in the kitchen. It's the way we're handling the vegetables and the way we're hiding the vegetables in the refrigerator. Now, I'm not saying that we should get rid of the refrigerator. Refrigerators are great. They were developed to keep meat and cheese and various other foodstuffs fresh and cool. But vegetables were not in mind for refrigerators. They were actually kept in food cellars and in bags in cool places. But then when people started throwing them in the refrigerator, that's when we started having much more of a loss. And how do we solve the problem of it being out of sight and out of mind? We put it on the table. And that's what Izzy was saying about a countertop greenhouse. This is the only on-demand countertop greenhouse. It keeps vegetables fresh on the counter where you see them and you eat them. I get letters and emails from moms all over the country about, oh my gosh, my kids are eating vegetables now and I love it. It helps immunity. It helps people not have as many colds, but it also is something that is good for you in many other ways. This is how the VeggieDome actually works. There's a lid on it. It's like a cookie jar lid. And that's actually something I was telling you earlier that I kind of stumbled into this really great concept. However simple it seems, it actually deals with the biology of the plants in a way that nothing does in the kitchen. The lid, as a cookie jar lid, I made it so my kids just kind of reach in and grab some food and put the lid back on. But what happened was that lid allows ethylene gas to escape, which is a hormone for growth for the plants emit every day. But what happens is it also makes the plants spoil faster. Ethylene gas escaping makes it the spoilage doesn't take place as quickly, and the vegetables last throughout the entire week. Now, that even though there's this ethylene gas escaping out through the lid and it's seeping out through the top, the water vapor still is inside. So this is why I'm calling it this is why it's a biovalve. The valve is letting the bad gas go out, but the good gas is staying in at the same time. And then you don't add any water. You don't do anything aside from wash the vegetables, trim them, put them in the VeggieDome, and then the moisture comes from the vegetables themselves. So there's a market opportunity here, which we proved right off the bat when we made an Indiegogo campaign, and it was successful, raised $35,000. And in that time, we were able to make the first 2,000 VeggieDomes and the first molds. 792 customers in 45 days were interested during that Indiegogo campaign. And something that I really learned was I thought, okay, it's going to be California and New York, maybe Oregon. Some people are going to be interested in these vegetable containers. No, 47 of the lower 48 states were included in that 45-day sale, which showed me that there's a broad appeal for this. People want to eat healthy. We sold over the last couple of years after making those 2,000 units. We made another 2,000 and another 2,000. Eventually, 7,500 units have been sold, and they're selling currently on the line for $59.99. And we've done several test markets with home and garden shows and veg fests and vegan fests. And actually, the home and garden shows were the most profitable in those venues. Targeted mass market price, though, is $39.99. We need to get that price down to that level so that far more kitchens. We're going to do mass marketing and mass sales with this. So we do have go-to-market strategies. As you can see, this is a consumer product. So yes, we're going to be bringing it to national retail stores, but also this is a special use type of product. So hotels could use them. They could have their logo engraved on the side of it and bring it up to the room, and vegetables can be ordered. And then people have their vegetables throughout the whole 2 or 3 day stay at the hotel. They're not throwing food away. They actually have a healthy stay. And hotels have shown interest in this, in that they want to be looked at as having their customers have a healthy stay. They're interested in their customers having a good time at the city that they're staying. Licensing has opened up because we have a utility patent as of last year. Before that, we had 3 design patents, and it was I have a brilliant patent attorney who's got great strategies, and I won't go into it right now, but he worked on it for 4 years to get the utility patent, which we received just in 2021. Now, this is also an online product. I mean, as we're consumer products, we sell it online. Amazon, Veggiedome.com, which is our own website, which really also we want to integrate as a meeting point for many people who have questions and ideas and interest in developing this type of form of out of refrigerator housewares. Social causes, cause fundraising. Let's just see an example. If the American Diabetes Association, which we are reaching out to, by the way, wants to do a fundraiser, they can sell Veggiedomes, and they get certainly the money for their fundraising. We get a certainly smaller profit or cost of the Veggiedome is being covered by that. But we're allowing our Veggiedomes to spread to more households through the social causes, where the social organizations are raising funds and their customers are getting a beneficial change in the household. Vegetables out on the table is a healthier lifestyle, and they're part of the good movement that is going to be created and underlined by that group. Let's say the American Diabetes Association really can affect and decrease the types of cases that are running rampant in our country because of the lack of eating vegetables. You see how that works? Anyway, television is exposure is also set up. We've got direct contacts with people in QVC and ready to go with that. We will be able to generate demand, and this is part of our go-to-market strategy also, is that there are 6 multi-billion-dollar industries that we'll go towards. Nutrition and dietitians will be able to have their clients make an actual change in their lifestyle. Hey, you guys got to eat more vegetables and fruit. Well, get this Veggiedome, fill it up every other couple of days and eat from it. And they can even prescribe the types of things that they want to put in that Veggiedome. What happens is you go into the kitchen, it's a new experience. You've actually changed the landscape of the kitchen to not being the cracker box up on the shelf, right? And the cookie jar with the cookies. You've got this other thing that reminds you, oh yeah, my nutritionist is saying I should be eating more vegetables. And clink, clink, you do it. Healthy families, vegans, there's lifestyle market that's out there, housewares, the weight loss industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar and even trillion-dollar industry. These weight loss coaches can be able to say, hey, your kitchen is going to be changed. You've got this thing up on the table that's pretty to see, but you can eat from it and be healthier yourself. Pro athletes and physical trainers, which is not a small group, but it also spreads out towards athletes themselves. We've got advisors who are NFL players and NBA players who are already interested in being out in front to bring the Veggiedome to the kitchens of this nation. Healthcare industry, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in another slide. Izzy, I wanted to be able to see if maybe we can have a quick conversation with you and your ideas on some of the things I just brought forth.
Yeah, I love that. And I love, as you know, I love the company. I'm a believer. I have it on my kitchen counter myself. And one of the things that I see, as you mentioned, celebrity athletes and things that you're already, and folks that you're already speaking with, is the high profile of the awareness of how important it is to have fresh fruits and vegetables in a diet for great gut health. What is gut health the foundation of? Well, it's the foundation of great immunity, right? So things that have been happening in this day and age with viruses and the spin-off of different viruses and variations and things like that, people need to know how important it is to have fresh fruits and vegetables at their fingertips. Because I'll tell you what, you're not getting it. As much as I love the taste of a can of Campbell's vegetable soup, it's different having fresh fruits and vegetables that your body can pull everything that it needs from there. Can you speak a little bit to that, Duncan?
Well, just the key word that everybody knows, fiber. Where are you getting fiber? You don't get fiber from meat. You don't get fiber from a hamburger bun. Not really. You get fiber from the fruits and vegetables, the vitamins, the minerals, and all the whole orchestra of things that are in that natural form that we as human beings have been living on and eating for millions of years. This is before Arby's came to be, you know what I mean? We've evolved with eating fruits and vegetables, and we need to put those in our system so that we can be even really in the repairing and recovery phase of what our body does every time we do an athletic endeavor. It's quicker. Now, let me tell you, there are athletes who huge athletes. Tom Brady has gone 90% towards plant-based. Vanessa Williams, a lot of various people. Why do they do that? Not because it's some sort of fad, because they want to extend their careers more years. And they're able to realize that, wow, if I'm eating a lot more vegetables, fresh fruit and vegetables, my body repairs and recovers from the athletic endeavors that I'm doing more quickly. Sure. So I can go back to the deck if you want me to real fast here.
Well, before you do, because I mean, that all makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Right.
And what I want to speak to is you've made some accomplishments. There have been some significant milestones. Number one, seeing demand in virtually every state in the continental US. And what I found remarkable about that is if we just indeed finance the side of the demand, I mean, this company can go into stratospheric levels of income. And what I wanted to touch on is the other side of the coin as well, where you made a huge milestone with the utility patent.
Yes.
Right? So you have this utility patent that others, as we continue to heighten the visibility of VeggieDome, other glass companies, housewares companies are going to say, well, gosh, he's got this patent. We've got a beautiful design with this. What if we leverage his utility patent and partner with you? It's another means for another rev share and income source. Can you speak a little bit to that, where the company can go?
Now, that was a huge milestone because literally in the business that we've been doing for 4 or 5 years now, we had all along the way 3 different design patents. And my I have to tell my daughter not to call me during these sessions. That the 3 utility patents were something that strategically we had certain things so that if people copied it a certain way, we'd be able to keep defending it. But you know what? Even so, I knew that anybody can change a design patent and kind of go around it. I knew that the company would still be successful, and I was designing it for success, even just with the design patents. Then, after 4 years of working on this, getting this utility patent, we get it last year. Boom. Not only is it the design, it's also any material, any shape, any color. And what happens is we are the only company that's making a biologically wise function or product for produce in the kitchen. Doesn't that make, why are we not even addressing the fact that these are live plants that we're eating? We're just throwing them in plastic bags in the fridge. So think of it this way. We are the Tesla of the kitchen. And that is because we are actually using the science aspect of it to produce something that is way beyond the others in keeping produce, and also not only just keeping produce, but allowing produce to be out on the stage, out on the table.
Yeah.
And you see it. I'm telling you, it changes the kitchen in a beautiful way. In the same way as that, Izzy, if I came over to your house and you had me over for dinner, I bring you a bouquet of flowers, you put that bouquet of flowers on the table, it totally lights up the room. Your eyes go to it, the natural forms and the natural colors, just like in the veggie dome is on the table. Now, let's say Izzy goes, takes my flower bouquet and, oh, thank you so much. And he puts it in the refrigerator. Okay, now that's what we're doing with our vegetables. I'm just trying to get people to understand that we're just kind of mishandling our vegetables, and we're throwing 40% of them away. So anyway, that's what I want to say. If I can, maybe I'll continue with my my deck at this point, Izzy. Or
why don't you jump to the finance part of this, where we're the capital that we're raising.
Good.
Because we got to wrap up here and move
Good.
on.
I will do that. Let me get this set up and so you can see it. There we go. We're there. Okay. Can you see the deck? So we're raising $750,000. As you can see that the $750,000 is being broken into various parts. The majority of it is not a risk. It's actually just making the inventory. Now, the blue part, which is, let's say about 25%, is going to new molds. And we're going to be doing that because that's why we're doing this capital raise, is that instead of making the beta version still, which was a little bit too heavy, 3 pounds too heavy, and we can make it just the same size and make it a little sleeker, make it more elegant, that's a change in the mold. But the scaled inventory, which is literally the majority of this type of the use of funds, is going to be out on the shelves, ready for the retailers to take, ready for sale. And so we do need a really good budget for our go-to-market strategy. That's the light green. And that's something that's going to make it so that we can continue with the strategic partnerships that I've already formed over the last 4 years with various really high-profile groups and also many individual or home-based companies that we've been reaching out to on a one-on-one basis. So the financial summary is that, yes, the first year is going to be slow or lower. We're going to be very busy that year, actually. That's when the new molds get made. And those take a process of 3 to 4 months, because if you're going to make 1 million veggie domes out of something, you've got to test it, you've got to go over it. So the mold process is that long. And then another within 60 to 90 days after that, boom, we've got the veggie domes coming on the shelves, and then we are mostly going to be selling it with the retail locations because we've got really good interest with that. But we'll also be doing it from our website and that type of thing. Our funding, as I said, is $750K, which really is something we've already trimmed down. We're going to be lean with that. We're going to be only basically using it for the things I've mentioned to you there. Small operation, we don't need to be big. But there's 2 ways in which the money can come to our fundraise. One is a revenue share option. So this will be to finance the inventory that we're making, and it's a short-term ROI, because why? Once we start selling them, you'll start seeing your money come back from a share on the revenue that's earned. But the other main part is the equity through our SAFE agreement, which is very similar. Izzy has been wonderful in terms of helping us set it up, and it's something that I'm looking forward to working with him further on how that can be best made. Izzy is always interested in a win-win situation. The investor is safeguarded, but the investor also is going to be sitting well, because this first money is getting the best deal. In this round is really the best way in which the investor can make money. So I'm going to come back over to you, Izzy, and let me see.
Excellent.
Very
And,
good.
Let's wrap up with this. And what I get excited about when I think of the high profile celebrity athletes that are already talking to you. I mean, big names.
Just got a text from John Sally yesterday, 4-time NBA champion, played with Michael Jordan, played with Kobe Bryant, and won championships with them, by the way. He was on their teams when they won. 4 different championships.
Say his name, so I withheld that. But the
John
exciting
Sally, yeah,
and the exciting thing about that, with Netflix, he just did Sneakerella. He's got a lot of high profile, and he's putting out these restaurants,
Right.
these restaurants, right? So this whole movement for having better foods, better health, gut health, what it can do for the immune system, and all that is critical right now, especially the day and age that we live in. But I think what's important to recognize is when you take a John Sally, who is very well known in the sports industry and obviously in film and projects that he's worked in, let's think back to what a out of favor B actress did for a very simple device called the Thigh Master. I worked with a gentleman that did that project back in the early 90s, and met him on another project in my Wall Street career. And someone like that had a huge impact. You think about what happens, and I'm talking to the investor audience right now, when this company gets some traction with a few bucks, and then someone like John Sally wants his name all over it, the same way that George Foreman put his name on a cheap electric grill, right? What can happen to the Veggie Dome with John Sally's number and signature etched in there, his number for his basketball jersey,
and very much
on a box.
Very much what you're actually saying is think about this product. It's somewhat simple. You can see it sitting over my shoulder there. Just the same way as what Izzy has mentioned, those 2 products, this is in the home front. It's as easy as a gift that'll be a $40, $50 gift to the household, changes it. People talk about it. People stand around in the kitchen on Thanksgiving. They say, hey, what's this Veggie Dome thing? It starts a word of mouth, but you get it with an influencer who can just bring it home, bring it into the home, and you can see it. It'll be spreading that way. There'll be an organic process, but we are part of a movement. Let me tell you, there's an aspect of there's a Food Revolution Network. You guys maybe never heard of it, right? Guess what? They had a seminar week-long about 2 weeks ago. It was during the week, 4 hours a day, live microphone with doctors, published authors, and people who are PhDs in research on the healthiness of whole food, plant-based. Guess how many online viewers they had while it was going? 250,000 people were listening to it. Yes, Paul McCartney kicked it off he was the master of ceremonies. Paul McCartney was involved with it. This is something that we are actually riding a wave. We're supplying the tool for that group, right?
Love it.
Fantastic.
Great job, Duncan. Amazing job. Give him a round of applause. My good friend and colleague, Duncan Burns of Veggie Dome. Excellent job, Duncan. We are going to jump over to Juan Pacheco Q. Could you spotlight Juan, please? All right. Juan, it's great to see you. It looks like you're on mute. And I am so excited about the project you're working on because it resonates very close to home. Well, years ago, when my wife and I had an eBay business, more so her, and she was driving all over the place, finding closeouts and things like that. One of the things that was always hard to predict was shipping. In fact, as she's teaching my little daughter, she's homeschooled, but we do an entrepreneur class, and she has a business class project with my little 7-year-old where they refurbish American Girl dolls. And one of the things that really eats into the profits is shipping. And it's because so many people don't understand where things can change with shipping and the price points and everything else. And you figured out a formula here to give that right to the entrepreneur's fingertips, where they can see how shipping can be made simple with click and send. So without further ado, my good friend and colleague, Juan Pacheco Q.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you for inviting me to this pitch event again. So I'm going to share my screen.
Go right ahead.
Give me a moment. Really easy. Okay, my company is Click and Send, like PayPal, but for shipments. We are helping e-shop merchants to make simple their process to shipping their products. I am an entrepreneur passionate in logistics and e-commerce. I'm a former industrial and systems engineer with extra preparation in international commerce and logistics systems, human development, and communication. I have been working all my life mainly in technology companies, in telecommunication and logistic networks. I worked for a while, like 10 years ago, with my first e-commerce experience, where I struggled a lot with the shipping process. Is when I realized the potential of this kind of business. And after my first e-commerce experience, I worked with the courier logistics solution for e-commerce in UPS, DHL, and FedEx in US for a couple of years. And after that, I was an independent software development consultant in Canada. The main idea of our product is to build something like PayPal, but for shipments. We want to aim our platform to be the one-stop platform that aims to make shipping services as simple as payment. Like we all already know, PayPal is a pioneer in this area, talking about online payments. They are really secure. They domain the market right now, and we want to replicate the same model, but for shipments. The idea comes 13 years ago when I had my first e-shop. I was sending around 200 parcels per day, spending around 80% of the day packing and labeling all the packages. Is when I realized why doesn't exist at that time something to simplify this process, because being an e-merchant, we want to sell more. No, we don't want to spend all the day packing and checking all about shipments, right? The problem we want to solve for the e-merchants to find multiple shipping options for different logistics companies in one place. Get big discounts in shipping services, even with the low volume of shipments. Have an online shipping solution, really simple to use and easy to integrate with e-commerce. What solution we find? The solution is a smart shipping hub to help us to compare and manage shipments services for different logistics company in one place. With these solutions, we are going to save up 70% in shipping services and 80% of the time used in fulfillment process. Our solution is going to be plug and play integrations for e-commerce. No coding involved, no technical skills are necessary for all our final customers. The product we already developed and is online. Our web platform, our homepage, where you can find where to ship. The shipping services view into different ways to show it, a list view and gallery view. Or user panel, easy to use, intuitive, and clear for everybody who wants to ship. Or shipping panel, where you can see from where to where you are sending, or even the store where you sell your product. Or a Smart Shipping Hub works in two different ways. The first one is you can generate your shipments through the portal direct with the web page access, or you can connect your eShop direct with our Smart Shipping Hub. Or Smart Shipping Hub, we provide access to several carriers in different markets around the world. Let's see the platform in action. It's a short video where we are showing how to fill all the information through our platform, through the web access. You only need to add the destination, the kind of business you want to deliver, if it's a parcel or an envelope, with all the details you need to add if you want to send more than one package. The list view of different shipping services. The gallery view. The filters if you want to see the difference between the services. After that, you select the service. You need only to fill some extra information for your shipping label. And after that, you jump to the cart. You can review the different shipping services you already pre-generate. See all the details for each shipping label. Proceed for the payment. And the order confirmation. You can download all the shipping labels in PDF and print it. This is using directly the website. Or user panel for our clients, for our shippers. The shops you can integrate with our platform. The shipments view, where you can see all the details. The billing view. And you need to generate different ways for the invoice of your services, payment options, with a backup payment preference, and prepaid credit if is necessary. The market size is really, really big. We are talking about more than $1 trillion in revenue for this year, really close to 300 billion parcels for this year. The estimated for the next 5 years is close to 2 trillion in worldwide revenue and more than 500 billion worldwide parcels. The market size only in North America, talking about US and Canada, is 330 92 billion in worldwide revenue. We are talking about 100 million shipments per day this year, and 12% of the worldwide parcels for this year. Is going to grow around 40% in the next 5 years, from 100 million parcels per day to 140 million parcels per day in the US and Canada. The market segmentation. We have individuals, small and home business, medium business, and large business. Our niche market is the first group of users. They are the most unattended group of users, and they represent around 40% of the market and 55% of the users in this on-demand of shipments in the sector. Our users in the niche market are home business and a small business, small shippers. They are the most unattended group of users, and they represent between 15 and 25% of the market. Each of them ships an average of 10 parcels per day. Recurrent users who send less than 50 shipments per day. Of course, these kind of users, they are invisible or ignored for their low volume. Any carrier consider it to give you more than 30% of discount if you don't have a really reasonable volume of shipments per day in your business. This group of users looks for a friendly ways to ship, smart shipping tools, and low shipping costs and fast customer services. They don't have budget or knowledge for the integrations with their e-shops. Our niche market is really small where we want to participate, and we only need a small portion of this market to reach our goals. We are talking about less than 1%, only a fraction of the 1% we needed to reach our goals in this year and in the next 5 years. Our 5-year growth goals, starting from 2 million in revenue for the first year of this year to more than 500 million in revenue in the next 5 years. We are talking about to start between 200 and 250 users and grow our users to 10,000 of them in 5 years. Our go-to-market is the first goal. It was to go online with our web platform. Is the beta version already online, and our next step is the Shopify integration. They have more than 1 million e-shops in the US, and they are opening more than 10,000 new e-shops per month. Our business model is really simple. We take a commission per shipment. This commission is around, the average is around 30% of the total cost of the shipment. Our competition, these 5 players, they are ones of the most important around the world, but they have some deficiencies. Poor user interface and UX experience. Their integrations for e-shops or business, they are complex to integrate. Talking about the insurance policies about them, they don't have any kind of innovation in this sector. Takes time to give you a response of these kinds of problems. The customer service is deficient or slow. Now, and any of them have a defined niche market of users. They offer shipping services for the general market, but they are not specialized in any kind of customers. Our competitive advantage. We are the first shipping processor specialized in e-shops. for small shippers, and in futures, electronic tools for e-commerce. Our US experience is focused on users first. Our platform is going to be clean and simple platform to use, where users can compare, generate, and manage multiple shipping services. Or simple access to multi-carrier network. We offering access to multiple carriers and extra discounts with only one account through our smart shipping hub. And we are going to offer an extra service for all our customers. Is a shipping concierge, is an extra hand for each shops with their monitoring and management in shipping services. The timeline of the technologies adopted for the courier express parcel industry in the last 100 years. All these technologies, they are involved directly with the shipping services, talking about express parcel industry. And the next big step is going to be the artificial intelligence. And we are going to witness this big step of services and technologies in the next 10 years. We are innovating in a whole category, like the others company, like Airbnb, like Uber, like an Alibaba. We are going to do for logistics the same what they do in their sectors. My team of co-founders, we all are software engineers specialized in different areas with more than 20 years of experience working only in technology. But myself, I'm the CEO. I work already for several years in logistic industry and e-commerce. My CTO is really a software engineer specialized in IT development. And my CIO, my Chief Information Technology, is expert in the field of cybersecurity. He is going to be in charge of all the security of the information of the platform. Our simple financial summary is starting from 2 million in revenue for this year or the first year to more than 500 million in the next 5 years. We are going to start for a negative EBITDA to a positive EBITDA in the next 5 years. Our financial projections, a quick view of this financial model is starting from 2 million to more than 500 million in the next 5 years. The offer we have for our investors is a pre-seed round for $500,000, direct equity starting for 10 cents for share, or a convertible note safe with 20% of discount, 20% of simple interest for year, with 2 years to term to convert. 10,000 minimum investment. Why invest in us? Only a few competitors are serving in this large market, and they are only located in some countries. The main reasons why we don't have more players, we don't have more competitors in this market. The technology and integrations, they are complex and different for each courier, for each carrier, and for each e-shop. Integrate all these kind of technologies in only one is really challenging. The development cost, being an extensive software development, we are talking about the time and budget required is high. And the customer acquisition. In this market, the strategy to find users is more than only using ads and traditional marketing. We need to go for them. We can't wait for them to find us. we already identified a really big niche in this market, and we can incorporate as many e-shops as possible, because me being a e-merchant a few years ago, I realized how important is the shipping process. It's key talking about e-commerce. The second reason why invest in us, the growth of e-commerce. Internet access and financial technologies will provide enormous growth to global parcel services in the next years. Right now, less than 5% of the global commerce happen online today. Digital payments grow from 19% in 21, but is expected to be 28% by 2025. E-commerce grew 22% last year, but is expected to be 13 times by 2030. And the global internet penetration in the world right now is 64%, an increase from 35% in 2013. Talking about in the next decade, we are going to witness around an internet penetration around more than 90% of the planet. Thanks. I think
great job, Juan. Give him a round of applause. A couple of closing comments here that I want to cover. Number one, when you look at this industry and how broad it is, what it touches, Click and Send can facilitate so much. And yet you're asking for a small amount of capital because it's software as a service. You've built so much already, and this thing can start based on the financial projections we did with you, can see some serious profits relatively quickly. With that being said, what's the play here where an investor invests, and I think they're getting a substantial bargain for being able to invest in your company in this first tranche of just $500,000. But thinking about the future, who do you envision? Let's talk about a name like Shopify that might want to acquire Click and Send for a pretty penny.
I don't think so, because they already have a lot of problems internally. They actually right now they are hiring or trying to hire thousands of people, because they grow 3 times with the pandemic. So they already have a lot of problems internally. They prefer to partnership to their companies to grow their business. And it's exactly what we are doing with them.
Now, that being the case, where do you see the exit being? Do you expect to be an IPO, a SPAC? Where's the liquidity go to the investors? Because I totally see you as a takeover target by a major company like a Shopify. Maybe it's not them specifically, but maybe it's a Walmart. Maybe it's someone like that. I don't know. But you have more perspective on that to share with investors.
Yeah. Talking about possible exit, we are talking about around 7 years, and we are thinking about to go IPO, to grow the company exponentially in the next 10 years.
On the Canadian, or is that something that you would move into the New York or the NASDAQ rather, or some type of
US? Sure. Yeah, it's in US. Actually, the company is already a US corporate in the United States. Yeah. And more because the large market in the planet is the United States. They move 1/3 of the revenue in courier express parcel industry. So we need to focus at this beginning only in US and Canada.
Absolutely. And one thing that I want to point out before we close up here, I think you did a tremendous job, number one. And the reason why I'm articulating this and how you've been pushing forward and building this company, it's so impressive, is that everybody, what Juan hasn't shared is that he got hit with COVID, and the after effects have been a major debilitating thing with weakness in joints and in your legs and things like that. And I've been so impressed by you, Juan. In fact, I had an opportunity to pray with you, and I'm just so happy to see that you don't let things stop you. You just keep pushing forward. And so many people got knocked down and even lost their lives with the pandemic and things like that. And I just really appreciate what you're doing, because I think it just speaks to the tenacity and your background in the companies that you built. So investors can trust in someone like you that you're just not going to give up. You're going to build a huge company, and I'm super proud of you. Great job.
Yeah, actually, it's not my first entrepreneurship. So I know all the challenge we need to solve every day to move forward a company. And I see all the work involved in the other companies. I see a lot of people like me to understand all the struggling to is pushing forward about to make it happen, to make it work or companies. And yeah, I have this kind of disability for now, but I'm not going to quit. I already invest like 10 years working in this project. I visualized this project 10 years ago. That's why after that, starting my first e-shop, I jumped to work in the logistic industry, with mainly in FedEx in Memphis, in their hub. So I realized how big is the market, how big is going to be the market in the next years. And now with the pandemic, we witness how all that kind of services, how all the digital services grow.
Yes.
Grow,
yes.
include Zoom. Zoom, they grow 10 times in 1 year. Why? Because now the market is adapted to adopt all the digital tools to help us to make it happen, to make it work all our companies. So I love this kind of companies. I love all the digital technologies. I love how we can change the world, or how we can contribute to make better companies. And like we already know a lot of problems to solve.
Yes.
But what a time.
And a tremendous impact that you're making for entrepreneurs that are trying to make ends meet, and the margins on being able to see right in front of their very eyes. Oh, DHL is actually cheaper on this one. Oh, FedEx is better. Oh, UPS is a better one. So all of that being able to undergird the entrepreneur that's building a business right from their basement or whatever it is, you're helping economies of scale. And I really, really appreciate that. Give Juan Pacheco Q a round of applause. Great job, Juan. Super impressive.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Up next, we have Ivan and Becca with Booking Lane. This dynamic duo I met not too long ago, and this incredible company, I believe, is going to revolutionize the way we all access executive cars and limousines. While I do want to underscore the fact that Becca, you and Ivan are not trying to compete with the Ubers and Lyfts of the world. This is something completely different. Dan, if you could spotlight Becca and Ivan. Thank you. How are you today, Becca? Great to see you.
Great to see you too, Easy. Thanks so much. How are you guys?
Have you? I'm doing great. Hey, Ivan, I see that you're still in. I see you're still in the Dominican Republic. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm just kidding. He's in San Francisco, but you guys have a trip coming up to be with your team out in Kyrgyzstan, and I've been so impressed with you guys from the start. What you've been able to build here is remarkable. The deep knowledge, Ivan, that you have in technology, Becca, what you know in finance from a CPA background, you make an excellent team to make this all come together. And you know the storyline as it starts, and let's jump there, where you guys were owners of an executive car and limousine service, where you saw the struggles that were something that you guys had to endure personally when building your company. So, you know, before we jump into slides or anything like that, could you tell me a little bit about what that was like and what you identified right from the start?
Sure. Thank you, Easy. Thank you for bringing everything on the table. And I've been in this industry more than 5 years. And me and Becca, we used to run a transportation company in San Francisco as well. And we're facing a lot of pain points, a lot of challenges. And that's how we come up with the booking lane idea, because the market is really underserved. And the people who provide transportation service, they're not visible for each other. It's really hard to run your own business when you're small independent operator, because like with technologies, you're not visible and you're not mobile. And coming from tech side, I'm coming from tech background, and Rebecca, she's coming from finance, and we combine our experience and we build Booking Lane as a business management and booking platform for executive car service and limo industry that is designed to connect all the small business operator, clients, and affiliate in one platform, in one comprehensive mobile app. Would you like to add anything else, Becca?
Yeah, sure. We as business owners we've been in this industry for over 70 years, and we realized that there's a huge potential if we could integrate technology in this very, very underserved and outdated market. As smaller business owners, we realized that we did really want to connect to other affiliates in the market. We did want to explore more opportunities and connect to more customer base, and maybe cooperate with bigger guys on the market. But unfortunately, there was no comprehensive platform that would allow us to do that. And once we started doing research, we realized that the most prevalent software on this market is from early 2000s. So this industry hasn't been updated for over 15 years, basically. And then we took a step back, we brainstormed, and we realized that, well, you know what, like if there's no solution out there for smaller and medium-sized businesses like us, let's create one. And we researched the market, we sit down and crunch some numbers, what we need to do. We compiled a team, and we analyzed our competitors, and we realized that none of the basically the competitors and the biggest players on the market, as Uber or Lyft, couldn't touch this particular segment of the market that we were targeting. Executive, car and limo service industry is pretty much being overseen for so long. And it's not like, if you think about from the tech side, right, it's not a very like sexy industry, right, where like people talk about like AIs, nowadays, like metaverse. Everyone is so excited about that industry, but this industry is making so much money, and then many investors like don't even know that there's so many like opportunities to gain even more money from the investment if they pay a little bit more attention to this market. And after doing a careful research and creating like a first pilot version of our software, we proved our concept. Basically, we realized that, okay, we targeted certain businesses like in the San Francisco Bay Area where we are located. We got our first revenue, and we realized, okay, this is something that's needed. Our product is solving many issues that are out there. Basically, many of these smaller business owners, they don't have, the accountant sitting in office, or the manager who's sitting in office and managing their reservations. These business owners are basically our drivers, customer service representatives, accountants, like they're basically everything, because they need to do everything in order to survive. And we provide these tools to these business owners, but we're not just like a business management platform. We're also a booking platform. So we're not only serving the B2B market, we're also serving B2C side. So, and if you go.
With that being said, Becca, that's what I wanted to jump to, is this remarkable team that you guys put together.
Right.
They've built this technology around Ivan's guidance with how he wants this to work. just from the experiential background of running a company, that there was a tremendous need for a platform like this. And for investors that are listening in or listening to the recording or listening live, think about experiences you've had, not with Uber or Lyft. We're not talking about that here, because I think a lot of people immediately jump to the, oh, this is like Uber, or this is Lyft, right? How are you going to be able to compete with them? They're so big. Well, here's what I challenge you to do. Go out and find a limo that you want to impress your clients with, or go get an SUV, a Highline SUV like a Cadillac Escalade or something along those lines, or a Lincoln Navigator, and see if you're able to get one of those on Uber, Lyft, because what they do is or Uber or Lyft, because they categorize things as maybe a Highline vehicle, but you don't know what you're going to end up getting. So as Ivan likes to put it, this removes the guessing game from so much. And in fact, very much like the Airbnb of the executive car and limousine industry, this team understanding how to put that all together, and we can show a little bit of a demo just later on here, but this team is remarkable. And what you've been able to do on you guys funding it has been so brilliant, because you understand not only the language over there, but the culture over there in Kyrgyzstan, being there from there yourselves. And you've built this brilliant team that if they were in the San Francisco Bay Area, oh my gosh, it would cost so much more money developing this. And so many startups, you'll see VC firms that saying, well, we want you over here right next to us, you know, in the Bay Area. And you guys have been able to do it in a budgeted way. It's absolutely incredible. Talk a little bit about some of these people here, your key developers.
So we do have an incredible team, very talented people that support us in our cause, and we're very grateful to have such a supportive team with diverse background. So so far we have 6 software engineers and 1 UI designer, and we also have a project manager. John with about 5+ years of industry experience. Our lead tech engineer has 12+ experience in the US and European market, worked on different projects, including big startup names in the US. And myself, I'm a CPA with experience in the public accounting, and Ivan comes from the tech background. He's always been an entrepreneur, and once we saw this opportunity, we decided to collaborate with the team, and we're actually going to see them very soon. The reason why John is a project manager is because they're on a distance, so they're not a local team, and this way we can manage the efficiency and everyday management, basically. Ivan, do you have anything to add?
The team itself, we do have a strong, legit team. Every single member our team has a really strong experience and knowledge of what they do.
Yep, totally agree.
Becca, if you can jump to the next slide here.
Yep, it's I think it just froze a little bit.
Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen. No problem.
Yeah, here you go. The slide always takes a little bit to load. As you mentioned,
incredible about this, you have these business class and luxury limousine services that are constantly needed, yet they're grossly underserved, to the tune of 65% of all the owner operators, as well as having these time consuming processes for the business executives that are utilizing the traveling. I mean, again, I challenge anybody that's listening in right now to go get a quote on a limo of what it would cost to pick up you and your family from the airport, or take you and some clients out to dinner, or you and your wife. It's so problematic. You got to go back and forth with emails and everything else, and you would think that that's already been rectified, and it hasn't, and you guys have come up with a solution.
Yes, once we, Easy, that's a great point that you touched, because when we were talking and to our existing customers when we own our own limo business, and once we started doing more research, and started talking about more and more customers of this specific market, we realized that they're very frustrated in general with the booking process. So everything else, like they like the customer service, they like the cars, they like this kind of like luxurious touch that they experience. But the most frustration comes from the booking process, basically, because they say, you know what, like let's say if I know this business, like this local business, and I travel locally, it's fine. But if I travel, let's say across the United States, to, let's say, Florida, from San Francisco to Florida, and I don't know any of the Florida, Lima companies, what am I supposed to do? Like, okay, I have to open up Google and Google different companies and try to find a quote, and for the company that I like. But then there's a problem there, because most of the companies out there, they only serve the quote form and they basically ask you to provide detail of your future trip or, anything or a specific event that you're requiring the car for. And once you share the detail, they come back to you within 24 to 72 hours. The problem here is, what if they come back and there is no cars available, or there's a car that you wanted, but it's just gone, or it's broken, it's just not there. That means you wasted 2 days of your time just basically waiting for them to come back to you. And this is like a big problem that we decided to solve on our platform. So once the consumer opened the consumer's app, types in their zip code or like whatever they are, we have a GPS navigation. Basically, our app immediately identifies where you are and will show all of the local businesses right away, show the fleet, the prices, and actual pictures of the vehicle of your choice. So there's no more guessing game again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Excited to share that with our audience here. Let's jump to the next slide, just touching on some of the benefits that you mentioned. Here's what I love about your platform here. Looking at the top first on the B2B side with owner operators, they get to build their own true small business. Okay. Correct. Well, why do I underscore it that way? Well, do you really have a business of your own when you're relegated to a notification from Uber or Lyft to tell you to go somewhere? No, you can actually schedule things in the palm of your hand, know what your day looks like, if it's just you or drivers that you might have as you continue to build your company. But you can literally, as it says there, run your business from the palm of your hand. And then you jump to the other side, on the B2C side. What are some of these benefits here? No more time wasted waiting for group quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous how long that can take. And how about this? Enjoying price predictability and that level of service that you're looking for. And my favorite piece here, because I've experienced this, is no more embarrassing Uber and Lyft surprises with unprofessional drivers and, let's call it what it is, with questionable vehicles. Been there and done that before, where it says you're getting an SUV or a luxury class vehicle, and up comes a Ford Explorer that smells like Happy Meals and cigarettes. And putting aside the body odor from the person that's driving, so this is what people are relegated to in that type of experience. Now, there's always going to be a market where people say, well, I don't care. I'm going to pay $7 to $10 for that ride from here to there. Specifically when I was staying on the Vegas Strip to go from one place to another, and we didn't want to walk in either the heat or in the nighttime, whatever it was. And there's always going to be a market, but there's also going to be a market where someone is meeting a top tier client and they say, you know what, do I want to share an Uber experience with my high level client?
Definitely.
Or do I want to impress them and know what I'm going to get? That's the critical variable there. So I love how that solves that. So let's jump to the next slide. And Ivan, if you want to walk through a little bit of this, and you could share your screen with Deluxe, one of the clients that you've been able to do some not only web design for, but implement the Booking Lane widget. Are you able to share that, or do you want me to share my screen?
No. Thank you, Izzy. I can share my screen, and I just want to touch base on the previous screen as well. Like Becca mentioned, and 65% of this market is a small business operator, and the hardest problem with booking, right? And people, when they want to book, when they're not getting response or quote from company, they keep calling them.
Yep.
And they usually small business operator or small business owner, he usually drive by himself. He can't pick up the phone.
Great
And
point.
it's potential people start losing revenue. Just live in front of his nose and like right in front of the table, right? So that's why we build mobile app. This allowed you run your business in palm of your hand. You can manage you can integrate the existing website. You can install like a booking widget on a website that's allowed your customer book your service instantly. They can get an instant quote and they can book you directly. And also you can manage like calendar, reservation, clients database, affiliate, network, payment processing, invoice, like fleet management, flight tracking, and everything in between. And as a bonus, we provide a driver app as well. That's allowed business owner track where's the driver at. And also it's super convenient for customers. They can know like where is his driver at, and we can notify them as well. And can you click
Really
on
great point.
please? And for a B2B side or for a B2C side, so by Simple provide pick up location and drop off, you can find company. Depends on score or pricing or any criteria you're looking for. Basically, you can click on vehicle and you can see like what vehicle it is, what company name, and how much they will charge for it. There is no more guessing game, and you pretty much know exactly what you're paying for and what you're gonna get. So in that case, you don't have to spend like $200 for Uber ride, and you just
Be unsatisfied, basically.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
unpredictable.
And in our
So-
consumer app, our consumers can actually book the trip live, but they also can schedule a trip for the future dates. So it's not just like a live option. We do allow like scheduling option as well. So do you, Ivan, want to share our booking widget that you mentioned about?
Yeah, you have to stop sharing your screen,
Okay.
please. Just want to show you how simple to book a trip once you integrate with Booking Lane. It's just by simple click on book now. So the book now is belong to Booking Lane. It's a part of our project and part of our program.
So to
simple
give you context here before you go into this for the investor audience to understand this. So this deluxe limo, they didn't have a beautiful website. You designed this all for them. You created this and now you integrated the Booking Lane widget. So the web page is ancillary income for the clientele that maybe has a beautiful Cadillac vehicle like that, or the Tahoe that's over to the left. And they say, well, I don't know how to do the rest of this, but you can create all this for them. That's ancillary revenue. And now you've got the Booking Lane widget that expands so much more, that just goes right onto the web page and integrates. So go ahead, Ivan.
Yeah, and touch base on Deluxe Limo. It's existing customer. They're located in San Francisco. So once we start work together, they not even have website. So we build a website for them and a booking system as well. And now they're super excited and they generate much more revenue because it's instant quote. The customer can reach them directly. I mean, they can book them directly. They don't have to waste the time on keep calling or trying to get the quote. By simple click on book now and provide like a pickup and drop off location. It's super simple and easy, right? Provide everything you need, like airlines, time, pick up a date, choose the number of passengers, pick up type of the vehicle. Sorry, forgot the AM PM. We also have a security because there is a lot of like bot attack on the internet. So the website, booking widget, and mobile app integrate directly. As soon as you upload picture on your mobile app, your customer able to see what kind of vehicle. So, and they pretty much know what they're paying for. They will see pricing and everything. By simple click next, they will see preview detail, routing map, what kind of vehicle, capacity, what they're paying for, transaction fee, and total amount. Click next.
That's a game changer right there. If I can interject a second, scroll back up the images of the vehicle there. Okay. When I am selecting a vehicle, I know what I'm going to get. Hence the reason why we're coining that phrase, the Airbnb of the executive car and limousine industry. Why? Because when you use other platforms, you're not going to know what you're going to get. But that's okay for a certain market, because what people have, when we've chatted with investors, they've said, well, Izzy, I thought you said you're not trying to compete with Uber or Lyft. Well, we're not, because they don't serve that market. What I'm saying is, similar to a gallon of milk at a 7-Eleven or a Safeway, why are they willing to pay $6 to $8 for a gallon of milk at a 7-Eleven when you can buy it for $2 or $3 inside of a grocery store? It's because of the convenience. It's because they just want to pull up and get out of there. Same thing with this. People want to know, they want that convenience instead of going back and forth and trying to figure out a quote. I want to know, I want a Cadillac Escalade. I need to pick up my wife and my kids at the Las Vegas airport. We're going to the Delano Hotel. How much is it going to cost me? And now you can click that on there and get that answer immediately.
It's a really great point, Izzy. Like, first question I was asked, how about Uber? How about Lyft? But back in the day, I used to work for Uber. Like, I used to run my transportation company, but at the same time, when a slow day, I had to turn to Uber and sitting and waiting for a call, for a click. But it's just unpredictable. They don't care about business provider. And it's a typical rideshare company. At the same time, let's say, I just give you my life examples, like based on my own experience. As soon as you stop work, as soon as you're sick, as soon as you left, like for vacation, or you took 2 weeks vacation, you keep losing revenue with Uber or with existing platform which are available on the market. But what we built in Booking Lane, we built rev share model that's allowed you to share business between each other. Let's say you out of country, you can keep running your business, sharing job with affiliates. In that case, you can make your money, you can make your like company expenses and stuff like that, not losing revenue like completely.
Right.
Well, let's go through this really quickly, Becca. We're running out of time here. We're actually over on time, but
Sure.
I love these points here. Huge market, $60 billion and growing. I mean, the opportunity to form the strong networks with the affiliates is something that you can't do on other platforms. So again, it just sets you apart from anything else. And that target that you're approaching, or targeting rather, of over $4 billion is incredibly remarkable, and it's achievable because we're seeing what's being done on other platforms. Okay.
Right.
So, and the other thing I want to point out is thinking about the gig economy. It's spurring on more sustainable growth. What is the gig economy? Years ago, for anyone that's older in the room, like myself, we used to call it moonlighting. There's tons of people that are out there trying to figure out how to make ends meet. They can leverage the Booking Lane platform and be in business today if they want to, if they've invested in a Highline vehicle and it meets, certain requirements that Booking Lane does all the background checks and all that. And it's so powerful. Can you jump to the next slide?
Sure.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your go-to-market strategy as we wrap up here?
Sure. So once we started Booking Lane, we created a custom blank, basically, site, and we started sending out the email campaigns to local business owners, and then across the U.S. and then internationally. It turns out that we had more than 4,000 companies interested in our platform.
Wow.
That gave us a huge go, like a green sign, like, hey, yes, we need to build this platform. So many companies are interested. And since we launched the first portion of the product, the B2B side, basically, we signed over 200 companies on our platform. And the reason why we're raising the capital right now, we still need to develop the driver's portion and the consumer portion. And once all of the three parts are finalized, we will definitely, okay, let me go to financials here. We will definitely increase our revenue sources every year. So basically, our revenue growth is expected at 61% in year 2. When we talk about year 1, we project year 1 in January of 2023. At our EBITDA at -77, which is expected at year 1, we're growing to positive EBITDA at 41.3 million in year 5. So to touch base quickly on the revenue sources, we are a SaaS subscription-based platform. We do charge businesses only a subscription fee to use our business management tools, but we also charge transaction fees for each successful transaction. So there are several revenue sources in our case, and we can touch base, a little more if a particular investor has additional questions. So our offer here is a safe note at 20% discount. We estimate 10 million of post-cash valuation cap, and we're projecting to have a Series A round around 18 to 24 months after closure of pre-seed round, which we're having now. So,
and you know what I love about this, Becca and Ivan, is that given the financials that we work through, which, by the way, everyone, conservative numbers, and Becca, especially with her background as a CPA, said, even though these scale higher, I want to show a more conservative number. And for some looking at this, it's like mind-boggling. Wow, you can get to that number in 5 years? Yes, because it's software. It's leveraging a software platform and utilizing other people's efforts that are out in the field. If you can jump back to that last slide again here. Here's what I want to point out, looking at these numbers and then looking at $10 million post-cash valuation. So $1 million of that is straight cash, but then what's going to end up happening when you convert, you're getting a 20% discount. So you're talking about converting at $8 million. That is absolutely incredible. The value that you get with investing in a company small like this now that can scale to a behemoth in a very short period of time, there's a huge value touch point there that I wanted to make sure that we didn't overlook. So we're expecting probably in 18 to 24 months thereafter doing a conversion and setting that with a Series A. And I'm excited to be a part of that as well. So super proud of you guys. Give Becca and Ivan a round of applause. Incredible company, incredible technology. And I'll wrap up here now with my final thoughts. Great job sharing, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Izzy.
Thank you for that. Dan, if you can just spotlight myself now. Great job, everyone. I've got some final parting thoughts here as we roll into the Memorial Day weekend. Let me just tell you this, everybody. When you're biting into a hot dog or a hamburger or whatever it is, when you're gathering with friends, hug your kids, man. Hug your loved ones. Seeing what happened here on Tuesday, where things are just snuffed out like this, you just never know. And I don't want to keep coming back to that point, but let me just tell you, it's haunting as a parent, okay? And for someone that loves this country as much as I do, and even, featuring someone in the gun industry, some people would think I'm crazy, but let me tell you this. When you call on a police officer or security or anything like that, you want to make sure that they're armed. And I know that we're in so much social disparities and conflict and all these polarizing differences that we have. What I would encourage each and every one of you to do is show love to your fellow man, right? And just make sure that you can show empathy to your fellow man so that we can all get along in this amazing country that we have, because we do have an incredible country. There are so many people pounding at the door to get in. Yes, arguably, people are saying, well, it's gotten so much easier to just, jump into this kind of, I'm not even speaking about that. What I'm speaking about, the fact of the matter that people want to get into this country. You can have a position on a wall being built or not, and different presidents. I don't care about any of that. Everybody's able to have their own positions and thoughts on political views and everything. I'm grateful that we can do that in this country, because you can't do it in others, okay? And I'm grateful for each and every one of you leveraging this free enterprise system that we have. You guys are amazing. I'm getting pings here from some of you in the chat, and I can't wait to have conversations with you and investors. But you even heard some of the people that presented. Gosh, I wish I had extra money for not only for my own company, but to invest in the ones that are presenting here. What does that tell you about the cohort that you're associated with? Give yourselves all a round of applause. I think you did a remarkable job today. Each and every one of you are so talented and incredibly intelligent with what you've been able to identify and build with your companies. And if you wouldn't mind, as I always ask you people to do, would you show Dan some love right now in the chat, or unmute and just say, hey, Dan, thank you so much for all that you do. Let me tell you something. Dan, you make me look good, okay? And he loves to be behind the scenes, and that's fine. He's not a guy that looks for accolades, but I'll tell you right now, none of you would be where you're at with your financials, or even having an opportunity to speak with the investors at the level that you can without his help. And I'm so grateful for Dan and everything that he does behind the scenes. Many of you have had conversations with him where he's got one of his daughters sitting on his lap because he's taken time off to help you guys. This is an amazing individual that I'm so grateful for, and I hope you guys appreciate that as well. Well, everybody, that's it.
Dan's making me look good.
Sorry. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
I said, Dan is making me look good.
That's right.
Man, I'm proud of that I have connection like Dan. I'm proud of I know him. It's that guy. I can email him late night and he'll help me out and first thing in the morning and not let me down. I really
Dan is one of the
that.
most patient people I've ever met.
Absolutely.
I run
He
so
also
many
Thanks,
knows
Dan.
his stuff. Knows
Yeah,
his
and he
stuff.
knows.
We're gonna get him to turn his camera on so we can see how humble he is and all that.
I don't know, Dan, are you able to turn on
Kudos.
the camera?
Dan's a great guy. I tell you, he's helped me with lots of things, including the financial model. So
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
bother
you know,
him
it's-
every week. Yeah, we do bother
There
him
he is.
every week.
Thank you so much.
appreciate all
You
you
guys,
do.
thank you for your job. Thank you for what you did for us.
Yeah.
And for whole opportunity.
Is Dan at the bottom of the ocean right now with his background?
No,
That is a dragon behind him, a really sick dragon. That is
Oh.
pretty cool. He's thinking about getting a back tattoo of that on his back.
Nice.
well, as we say around here, we think we'll keep him.
Well, I just want to say publicly and acknowledge that, Dan, that sure appreciate everything that you do, your dedication, your pursuit for excellence and everything. When he sees a number off, he wants to get right to the bottom. I just appreciate that so much, because so many people in his age group and culture just dismiss things like whatever the least I can do to get by. And that's not Dan. And I so appreciate that. And we're blessed to have him, everybody. Blessed to be connected with you guys as well. It makes Dan and I happy to come and serve you because of the brilliance that you guys bring to the table as well. This has been once again an amazing time doing the Start Pitch event for Memorial Day weekend. Again, remember, we're not going to be here on Monday. We're excited to talk about some of the changes that are going to be upcoming with our workshop being now just on a Friday. Just a heads up on there. And a different division of a business model related to it. I want you guys to start doing a little research on SPVs. We've been connecting with some brilliant attorneys and things like that to help you guys, as well as an investing public body that is saying, hey, we want access to more of these startups. And I want you guys to do a little research on that. We'll be unveiling that in the coming weeks and talk about that. But we're so excited for each and every one of you, regardless of what the economy is doing. And I know that investors are shaken up right now, and understandably so. But it's just something that we all just got to grin and bear it and keep grinding, keep on grinding. But other than that, proud of you guys. You guys can all unmute, say goodbye to everyone. You guys did an amazing job.
Hi, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Have a great
everyone.
weekend.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you, Izzy.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Izzy.
See you next time.